Hey, remember yesterday when we were like not completely depressed about baseball for a second? God, that was cool, right? We were like, man, maybe the tide has turned. Maybe this Adley Rutschman moment can be what the springboard. Hello, depression, my old friend. It's nice to talk to you again. God. Hi. Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio. I'm Glenn Clark. You may know me from being Glenn Clark. He's Griffin. We're here. Lot to do today. We'll talk about other, maybe more pleasant things. Preview Ravens Raiders. Andrew Catalon's on the call for CBS. He'll join us a little bit later on. Make some picks for week 2 of the NFL season, week 3 of college football. KZ will check in. There is a team playing for a championship, the Maryland Whipsnakes. They're playing on Sunday against the Archers up in Philly for the title.
Like I said, Maryland's team.
That's right. Yeah, please, your only hope. Matt Dunn, he at Terp. He's going to check in with us and talk about how they kind of turned everything around this season. Some thrillers in the postseason and now trying to take down the defending champs. Also, speaking of Maryland, we're going to chat with Maryland wide receiver Tai Felton. Yeah, the result was a bummer on Saturday, but he's had a really great start to the season. Looks like a star. We'll catch up with Tai Felton a little bit later on. And get you segment number 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show with special guest Beau Brade. That's all on the way this morning here on GCR. Today's show... I wish I wasn't so depressed about this. Today's show is brought to you by Live Casino and Hotel Maryland. What's going on at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, Griffin?
Nothing depressing at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland right now because every time that Baltimore or Washington scores a touchdown during their home games this season, Live Rewards members will be receiving $7 in free slot play. You have to have your card inserted. Just make sure you watch, pay attention, inserted correctly into the machine.
Just like that.
Into the slot machine and be actively playing in order to receive the prize. And once Baltimore or Washington scores a touchdown during home games, so opportunity this week, Ravens at home, and you can you can get $7 in free slot play. It will be automatically loaded on there. It is at Ronald Mills, must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I mean, what do you want to do? You want to talk about it? You want to... This sucks, man. This sucks. And like, it is not nearly as simplistic as you want it to be. Whatever it is that you want. I know everybody was going on about Dean Kramer's comments after the game last night. Make sure I read them correctly. Andy Koska tweeted, among those who tweeted, covers the Orioles for the Banner. Dean Kramer was asked what could change for the O's to get on track. Quote, "My job is to go out there and pitch. That's a question for the higher-ups, the guys who make the decisions of who plays, who doesn't play, and all that stuff. So I wish I could tell you, but I got no answer for that," unquote. And the response from a number of Orioles fans, of course, is, oh, he's throwing those guys under the bus. He's saying they've got there's no confidence in whether it's Brandon Hyde, Mike Elias, whoever it is. And my response to that would be, maybe, or Dean Kramer just went out there and did his job, and he's pissed off about losing, and he doesn't know either. He can't explain it, and it's not his job to explain it. Imagine thinking that like Dean Kramer would be the one to be able to dissect it. You know what we're just not doing enough of? We don't have enough rally sausage in there, so we gotta fix. Once we get that, everything's fixed. Like maybe Dean Kramer just doesn't have the answer because he's as frustrated and he's as ticked off as everybody else is about it. Maybe it's not that deep. And I could see that being the case. You go lose a frustrating game where you had the lead in the 10th inning and somebody's trying to, like, get you to answer, like, hey, how do you solve this? I don't know, Chief. If I knew, we'd probably do it. Everything would probably be fixed. Now, to the point, the fact that he said that's a question for the higher-ups, the guys who make the decision of who plays. Like, is it possible that there is growing frustration about particularly the defense? Is it possible that some of that's coming out? The part that we don't want to talk about last night, whether it's you wanting to scream about Yanier Cano should have gone back out for the 10th inning or the 9th inning, and then you would have had Dominguez for the 10th, whatever it is that you're screaming about. And I don't know what you're choosing to scream about. The Orioles aren't in the position that they're in if two things happen. One, if when Emmanuel Rivera picks that ball at third base, even though it wasn't a good throw, first of all, a better throw, but I get it. He's on the move. That's not an easy play. If Ryan O'Hearn is able to make that pick, and it's very easy for all of us to say we think Ryan Mountcastle probably makes that pick. Given everything we saw of Ryan Mountcastle at first base, we have every reason to believe he makes that play. If that happens, then they allow how many runs? Because that was the third out of the inning, and a run scored on the play. Then they allow one run all night if that pick is made, or if there's a better throw. But, again, the throw I can forgive that not being perfect. It was there. The play was there to be made. Ryan O'Hearn didn't make the play. You would add in another scenario. I get it. Colton Cowser gifted a triple. It's hilarious when you look at that on like the official play-by-play of the game, because it says
he tripled
triples on a pop-up to third or whatever. And I think they said to left. I don't think they said to third. I think they said a pop-up to left. But just the word triple on a pop-up is absurd and goes back to kind of the absurdities of baseball. Like, I don't hate the fact that we try to benefit the hitters more, but, like, come on, man. Ruling that a triple is kind of nonsense.
It is a triple. He ran hard.
Yeah, he did run hard. God bless him. No, he definitely didn't earn it.
He did.
But no.
I mean, it could have been a double for probably everybody else, so he earned that triple.
Great point. He earned a pop-out is what he earned, and they didn't catch the ball.
Put it where they weren't.
Yeah, no, they were there.
Well, they weren't.
They were there.
If they were there, they would have caught it.
No glove made contact with the ball, so legally speaking, we're not allowed to say what happened there. It's bizarro world. But Colton Cowser is on third base with one out. On third base with one out. On third base with one out. These are the things that are the differences in a baseball game. And you can say, hey, it's still shameful they only scored 2 runs on a night where they faced Nick Pivetta, who hasn't been good. And you're right. But those types of things. Then you add in Jackson Holliday in the 10th inning booting that ball, and it's just inexcusable. There's no getting around it. And is Jackson Holliday in his own head because it's not clicking offensively and it's made it worse? He's playing a position he's not comfortable about. I don't know. I can't define what's going on with Jackson Holliday. And there will have to be a larger conversation in this offseason about what the Orioles' infield defense looks like moving forward. Because Gunnar Henderson's been awful at shortstop and Jackson Holliday's been not good at second base. Now, Jordan Westburg's not a good second baseman either. But they're going to have a big picture conversation about what this looks like moving forward. And I don't know what the answer is going to be. Whatever you're doing, save it. Save it. Doing a show. There's going to have to be a conversation about it. And if that's what Dean Kramer's coming up with, if that's his frustration, if that's what's coming out there when he says, ask the guys who make the decision about who plays, and I'd have no idea if that's the case. And none of us know. But if it is, who could blame him? It's an abomination what we've seen defensively from this team. And as frustrated as I am about the offense, that's insanity. And if you're a pitcher, that would be the part to me that would really piss me off. I'm doing my job. These guys are doing their jobs. Not to say that Like, it was an awful pitch from Keegan Aiken that ended the game, which is a shame because he made some really good pitches leading up to that. And you were like, hey, maybe he's got the moxie to get them out of this spot. And again, if Jackson Holiday makes that play, then it's going to require a base hit. Now, he gave up a home run, so that does qualify as a base hit. But if that's what's coming out from Dean Kramer, and he doesn't want to call his guys out like that, he doesn't want to throw them under the bus, and so it's easier to say, hey, talk to the guys who make the decisions about who plays, I can't blame him for that. At some point, it feels like maybe they've reached the point where it might be time to start calling guys out. Gunnar Henderson's the best player on this baseball team, but it's inexcusable how bad he's been defensively. And I know that wasn't the story last night, but it's inexcusable. I am befuddled by Ryan O'Hearn being it's saying someone's a good defensive first baseman should be like the easiest thing to say in baseball. If you're playing first base, you've reached the bottom of the rung. It's this or nothing. And Ryan O'Hearn has been a wonderful story. It's been really pleasant. And even though he's slumping right now, he's not that far removed from being one of the solutions for this team. But he's also not going to guarantee himself a job moving forward because he's not a 40 home run hitter. He's a guy with some pop that's a pretty good professional hitter when he's at his best. Right now, clearly, offensively, he's not at his best. But you don't guarantee yourself a full-time DH spot by being that guy. And I get that maybe Ryan O'Hearn ultimately is nothing more than a platoon bat, which, those are valuable too, particularly given, you face a lot of righties during the course of a season. But to not be able to play first base at a high level, I mean, that is the bare minimum of this game. You got to be Edgar Martinez in order to be able to get away with that. David Ortiz, insert name here. You've got to be wildly good offensively. And Ryan O'Hearn is a good hitter, but he's not that. And you can't absolve him of, this is inexcusable. And you could say, well, he's not playing his natural position. What? He doesn't have a natural position. We've seen Ryan O'Hearn in the outfield. We've seen that experiment. It don't work. You hit 40 home runs, fine. You can just be a DH. But if you're Ryan O'Hearn, you got to at least be capable of being an emergency first baseman. And if that's what's coming out, if you're Dean Kramer and you're watching all of that in the 10th inning, you're watching Keegan Aiken go out and make pitches and get the job done, and then Jackson Holiday boots a ball and you're frustrated about it, I can understand that feeling. And you just don't want to cause problems, so you don't want to say, hey, the kid playing second base ain't ready. He can't do this yet. Because he's probably going to have to go out there tomorrow and play. Fine. Fine. I'd be pretty pissed off too. Doesn't mean that there's not, and this is the problem with focusing. When we focus all of our frustration on Brandon Hyde, it absolves the players of their responsibility. As I said the other day, we are trending in the direction where no matter whose fault it is, there could be just change for the sake of change. There could be. Whether that's because there was a change in ownership and at the top they have a different opinion, whether that's just because it's the stink of going through something like this, and whatever it is, we are trending in that direction where if this continues and they slump their way to the finish line and get quickly summarily dismissed in the playoffs, or somehow, and it still seems impossible, miss the playoffs altogether, that could trend to change for the sake of change. 1,000%. But every time you focus on that, you absolve the players of the responsibility that they have in this. And I'm not going to involve with that. Ryan O'Hearn has to make that play at first base 10 times out of 10. 10 times. You can say, well, it's kind of a difficult play. Yes. For you, for me, for my 9-year-old, for a Major League Baseball player at first base, that is a play you have to make every single time. Particularly with a runner on third base and 2 outs and a chance to get out of the inning. You have to make that play. You want to scream at Brandon Hyde, scream at Brandon Hyde. Tell me how it's his fault that Ryan O'Hearn can't pick the ball. And it's not me absolving Brandon Hyde or saying that he doesn't have some. You have to make that play. Is it Brandon Hyde's fault that continuously there are runners on third base with less than 2 outs constantly and no contact? And you could say, well, there's a philosophical problem with it. Whatever you want to say, these guys are plenty capable of making contact. Tell me how that, when you want to obsess over the manager, and again, I'm not telling you the manager is absolved, but tell me how that uniquely, specifically, which if they just score that run after they're gifted a runner on third base, do nothing to earn it. Gifted. Tell me how that's the fault of Brandon Hyde or Mike Elias. It's infuriating. The losing sucks, man. It sucks. Nobody's having a good time. I guess it's also funny that, the guy that was up in that spot was Austin Slater, who, for the most part, has done a nice job. And if you want to say, well, you'd like to have better baseball players than Austin Slater, yeah. I mean, in general, I probably agree with that, but
it's just what they have.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what they have. If you want to say that you needed to come away with a better right-handed bat, I don't know. Austin Slater has been a pretty good right-handed bat since he arrived as a Baltimore Oriole.
So what, does Tommy Pham drive that run in?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be the only argument somebody could make about how it's Mike Elias' fault is that, there's no business with Austin Slater, but, Austin Slater's gotten the job done. I can't go to war. I didn't like the move on that day, but it's hard for me to go to war with it now. Austin Slater has been largely what we could have hoped Austin Slater to be. Maybe the bloom's coming off the rose a little bit recently, but in that spot, if you're on the team, you got to get the job done. You got to make contact. Put the ball in play. I can't. I mean, if you want to say that it's gotten to the point where, maybe with Austin Slater, you consider a squeeze or something. If that's where we're at, you got a runner on third base and 1 out, you have to hell or high water get the run home, and you can no longer trust these guys, and it's Slater, and he can run, and so you try to squeeze. We can have that conversation, but my God, is that what it's come to?
Can't get a fly ball.
Can't get anything.
Right.
Again, not all you hit a line drive right at somebody, it's not going to help. You hit a pop-up, it's not going to help, but legitimate contact.
Ground ball to the right side.
Yes. Something. And it's Colton Cowser on third base, by the way. It's not Anthony Santander. A shallow fly ball is almost certainly scoring the run. Christ. This is my new end, because I'm telling you, I think it's possible that this could trend in a direction where there could be a change. I don't think there could be a general manager change. I'd be really surprised by that. I said whenever new ownership comes in, you always run the risk of them wanting their people in place. I don't see that. I don't. Even if it would completely fall apart, I don't see that. But the managerial change is the easy one to make. Because in baseball, the job of the manager is somewhat minimal, and I hate saying that. The job of the manager is more about the culture than it is about the decisions. Because as I said over and over again, the data drives the decisions in most organizations. So when the culture goes south, what is the manager doing?
So if they were to lose, if they were to just get swept in a home wild card series,
potentially. I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to do the see the future thing. I don't know. I'm just saying that's. I can see it. It's also possible that like there's a respect level that hey, we really think that this is about the injuries, and if we had a full group of, it's possible that they will give him reprieve. But I'm telling you that this is. When you guys are screaming about Brandon Hyde in May, you look like a-holes. Because the only thing that a manager is judged by is the team winning. Today, I'm telling you, the team's not winning. It's gone really south, and it's certainly not impossible that it could lead to the end of Brandon Hyde. Because that's what a manager is judged by. The thing where you just think that you know better than everybody else. Like, if you would have just left Yanir Cano in for another, then obviously it would have worked. With all due respect, you're a dumbass. You have no clue. You're just saying this is the other thing that could have been done there. It's so boring. It's so sad. It's pathetic. It's all of the... Whenever you do the bit where you could have also done this. Thank you, Chief. We're very aware of that. You could have. Would it have worked? You, me, no one knows. It's Captain Hindsight. And even if it's Captain even if you're saying, I didn't think that in hindsight. In the moment, I thought that. Bless you. You still have no clue. None. We all do it. There are plenty of decisions that I second guess. I second guess decisions all the time. And it's easy to say, did you really want Keegan Aiken going in for the 10th inning of a one-run game? No, that doesn't sound great on paper. 100%. Part of that is a limited number of options that you have.
Could have been Kimbrel.
That would have been awesome, right?
Well, it'd be an ultimate redemption story. Obviously.
Yeah, right.
Going
The
up to
ultimate,
Boston.
The ultimate redemption.
Closes the
story.
door.
Come on, man. Part of that is you got to work with what you got. Part of it is you'd like to score more than one run. Part of it is you'd like for your second baseman to not boot the ball. You'd like any of those things. List them. You'd like to not be in the extra innings because you'd like to have done more than just produce 2 solo home runs during the course of the night. Default right back to what we came to know of the Baltimore Orioles. Either you're hitting a home run or you're not doing anything. There's a million things that you'd like to have be different. There's no, obviously, man of the match from last night. But, yeah, here's what it would sound like if there was.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring local food, shopping, and fun for all. Come for the event and stay for the experience in Cecil County, home to the Chesapeake Bay waterfront, vibrant small towns, and family entertainment. Tickets on sale now at maryland5star.us.
I just realized it looked like Cedric Mullins was still the man of the match because I didn't pull him down from the night before. Sorry, everybody. I'll
apologize to Cedric.
Yeah, no, I like Ced. He's one of the few guys that's actually, for the most part, done the job of late. But it is what it is. Orioles off tonight.
Go for 5 last night.
It wasn't the answer last night. That's why I said for the most part, nothing is flawless. Nothing. Off tonight. Then they head to Detroit for a series this weekend. And obviously, making matters worse, the Yankees win in extra innings last night. And so the Orioles now a game and a half back in the AL East. John from Little Rock sent me a message. Like, I think that was the night where, like, their division hopes came to a close. Again, maybe, but I have no knowledge of whether the Yankees are going to be a serious baseball team or not. just brutal all around. All right, when we come back in, we will make our picks. We will not dwell. We will not dwell. I was thinking last night about, like, if this really is the end, how many more Tuesdays and Wednesdays where we don't have a football game to distract us are there? And I'm like, there's only a couple. We only have a few more of those to get through, and then we can just think about football. That's what we can do. Speaking of football, KZ will join us next. We'll make our picks for the week. It is a Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Experience the thrill of the Mars Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill, presented by Brown Advisory, coming October 17th to the 20th. See the world's best equestrians compete in the sport of eventing, the ultimate test of horse and rider. Enjoy a weekend festival featuring locally sourced food at the Fresh Food Fest, a beer, wine, and spirits showcase, shopping, and fun for all ages. Check out the Maryland Corgi Cup, interactive kids corner, and more. It's the place to be in October. Visit maryland5star.us for tickets.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas' 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with 2 sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
Make the most out of every day in your Toyota RAV4. Available in hybrid or gas-only models. A RAV4 can get you where you want to go in style. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new RAV4s from your local Toyota dealer today.
Baltimore's Classic 5 golf courses make golf fun and affordable. All 5 local courses, Pine Ridge, Mount Pleasant, Forest Park, Carroll Park, and Clifton Park, are challenging and fun for players of all skill levels. Book your tee time today at classic5golf.com.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
The latest edition of Pressbox is available now. On the cover, Bo Smolka profiles Ravens star safety Kyle Hamilton, detailing his path from growing up the son of a basketball player to choosing football, being overlooked in the draft, and turning into a defensive unicorn as a playmaking Swiss Army knife in the NFL. Also inside, meet college football players from all of the area's D1 programs and some of the area's college soccer standouts as well. Pressbox is available for free at over 500 locations throughout the region, including 60 Royal Farm stores. Or you can read the entire issue at PressBoxOnline.com, where you can also find great betting advice and the best daily coverage of the Orioles, Ravens, and Terps.
One of the things that's definitely wrong with this country is that this dude still has a job somehow, some way. Glenn Clark.
All right, back in here on GCRs and continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. This, our next guest is part of course, Project Game Day, which you can watch or listen to after every game this season, including the Sunday following Baltimore-Vegas. Come join us. PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day. It's brought to you by Easy Pass, 1-800-GAMBLER, the Maryland 5-Star, among others. PressBoxOnline.com/Game Day. Myself, Rita, Super Bowl champ Femi Iambadejo, Stetka, and this dude, KZ. What's going on, brother? How are you? Hello? Oh. All that.
How are you?
Oh, there you are. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Everything good?
I'm good.
Yeah? Yeah.
I'm good. I don't see everybody. But
you don't see everyone. Well, that's because we don't want you to. It's because we're doing the show naked.
It's fine.
Doing
I don't
doing the
see
show
it. There we
totally
go.
naked today. Totally, it's a new Thursday tradition that we have where we do the show completely nude. That's it's a new thing.
We could introduce that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be
next
punishment.
I
don't think that's going to be the play for us. All right. I was trying to think of. I definitely had a question for you. What am I doing here?
Should I play Jalen Wright tonight if Devon Achane doesn't go? You got to figure out which leagues I have Jalen Wright in.
Depends what other you have. I mean, it's a flip of a coin. I don't know. You're going from
over J.K. Dobbins, Jalen Wright or J.K. Dobbins.
No.
Okay, no.
I mean, Wright was inactive last week. I know we all like all these rookies and things like that.
Different question: J.K. Dobbins or James Cook?
I think you got to go Cook over Dobbins.
All right. My team's feeling good about this team. All right, you go Neighbors or James Cook. It is PPR. Cook. Okay.
I still got Cook.
Stafford or Goff?
That's a toughie.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna go Goff. I think that should be a really high scoring game.
How about McLaurin or Keon Coleman?
I'm not betting. I'm not going to overreact to week one, so I'm going to still go McLaurin.
I hear you, and I actually am really excited about playing Jaden Daniels in the leagues where I have him, but it ain't because of him throwing the ball.
I know. But
that's the
16 carries isn't gonna be every week.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think I'm right. I don't know.
I think
it's
right.
like it's funny in fantasy football. We do all this prep. Okay, and we're excited about our draft. And 1 week of football happens, and we say, "Oh, screw all the prep.
Right.
We're just going to go with what happened in 1 week of football." It's like we just need to relax and see what's real and what's to use an old phrase, what is Memorex.
I'm in this 14-team league with like no bench, where legitimately you get like 3 bench spots to keep everybody. It's nuts. Would you pick up Demarcus Robinson to play over McLaurin or Keon Coleman? And I will tell you, it would require me to either drop Coleman or drop Ray Davis, who I'm holding as a handcuff for James Cook.
No, because I'm not. See, the everybody's going to do this, okay, and they're going to say, okay, Puka's out.
Yep.
And Demarcus Robinson, is his replacement, and he's not, because Demarcus Robinson already started last week in the 3 set. So Demarcus Robinson is still going to be the guy. The replacement for Puka is either Tyler Johnson or Jordan Whittingham, who they really liked in the preseason and talked up a whole bunch. I don't know if I'm playing either one of those guys this week until I see it, but it's certainly not Demarcus Robinson.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. We
know who Demarcus Robinson is.
I'm just still struggling with playing Terry McLaurin because he doesn't have a quarterback that's passing him the ball.
I'm with you, but it was 1 week. Let's not. We can have this discussion next week, but this week I'm not having it.
Pollard or DeAndre Hopkins?
Based on what we saw, I got to go Pollard another week. He was getting the touches.
Yeah. Tua, Goff, or Fields?
The only thing that stops me here, I mean, Goff is the safest one. I'm not playing Fields, because he can't throw the football.
But are we sure that matters?
I know. Again, 1 week. I'm not. Tua, because it's early in the season is the only thing. He seems to do well, but the Thursday night gives me pause. May not have either of his running backs. I'm gonna go Goff here with the safe floor.
All right. I think that's all I had for you today. I think
I gotta.
All right, quick.
All right, I got to bench one of Ridley, DJ Moore, or Tank Dell. Yeah.
I mean, Ridley's playing, so it's Moore or
Tank Dell. They're playing each other.
Or Tank Dell.
Bears against the Texans.
I'm benching Dell. I don't know why. I mean, neither like Dell wasn't involved at all.
So I guess I should trade one of them. Is what's your?
Well,
since I have this abundance.
DJ Moore. I mean, that looked as bad as any quarterback situation there was, but I believe he's more talented than that. So,
all right, real quick. Oh God, I hate this. If Jake Ferguson plays, are you playing him over Chig?
Jeez, Chig's your best option.
I mean, what do you think is out there, dog?
Yeah, there's nothing out there, and tight end was so bad last week.
Yeah, the Rams. Who's the Rams?
Yeah, Dalton Schultz would be the best.
I'm probably playing Chig because I don't trust.
Would you pick up Schultz to play over Chig?
I probably would.
Okay.
I probably would.
Okay, we'll go ahead now. So Ferguson or Schultz?
I'm playing a healthy guy. I don't trust the Ferguson thing.
All right, very good.
He was going to be out for 4 weeks, and all of a sudden he's going to play. Come on, I mean,
why aren't they ruling Jordan Love out? Because I can't put him on the IR yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's your problem.
Well, because they're not putting him on IR, so he's doubtful.
Listen. I don't care about that. In your cockamamie league, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to play Baker? That. Listen to this group that I'm gonna have to choose from: Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, Daniel Jones.
You didn't draft very well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because I didn't know what we were doing.
Griff.
Just tell me which one of them I'm gonna play.
No, I'm starting Caleb Williams. I'm not doing fine.
Which one? What were the three again?
Deshaun Watson, Derek Carr, and Daniel Jones.
Can I have one of them?
I mean, let's find out if Derek Carr is for real.
You're starting Derek Carr.
Cockamamie. You're starting. You just said you're starting Caleb Williams.
Yeah, but he might run for a touchdown. So
yeah. God, this league is so stupid. What a dumb league.
I had fun week one.
Yeah, did you? Well, I won. I got to win somehow, some way. I don't know. How
I had Baker. I had Baker because I decided not to draft the second quarterback. I was like, oh, who's left? Baker.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, worked out for you, didn't it?
How does waiver priority work in
Shut
that
up.
league?
We got to make picks.
I honestly,
we got to make picks.
Because
Just
I
stop.
lost.
We have to make picks.
I don't know.
Stop it.
Know.
Here we
I
go.
don't know. We'll give me sleeper out.
Here's where we are.
I tried to read the reviews.
Here's where we are. We are going into week 2 of the NFL season. Only one of us is over 500. We've already reached that point of the year. One of us, James Revere, the newbie, is 10-6 on the season. And then there's myself, Joe Serpico, John Little Rock, Ryan Shell at 8-8. Jeremy Kahn and Andrew Stecca, 7-9. Griffin, Paul Valley, and Kyle Ottenheimer, all 6-10. And right now, in line to get himself a Brazilian, KZ, tied with John Proctor at the bottom of the table. How you feeling about yourself? And that's after you lone wolf the pick of Michigan State. You lone wolfed one, and you're still 5-0.
Not only lone wolf, but I was undefeated in my college picks.
Oh God! Oh,
I went over in the NFL.
Oh no! Oh no! All right. We'll get into it. 3 college games, 6 NFL games planned for $300 at the top of the table. What we're really playing is to avoid being the loser who's got to come in here and sing and eat a sardine fruitcake, more or less, and get a Brazilian wax and get struck by John Rollo.
If it was a sardine fruitcake, it might be better than like.
Yeah, I don't know. Rumors that we're paying off the last bet on Monday, but did you talk to Tim?
I did try to.
Oh no! Oh Jesus Christ! Boy, I'm glad we tried. Might have to delay that now. That'll be fun. Cool. Anyway, let's get into it. Where are we starting this week?
We are going down to Charlottesville for prime time Saturday night, 8 p.m. on the ACC network. Maryland taking on Virginia in a good regional battle as the Terps are 2.5-point favorites against the Cavs.
I'm actually interested in what Ken's going to do this time because he got his, just keep picking against Maryland and it'll eventually work out for you point. Like, he got it. So now the question is, does he go back to the well, or does he say, hey, I got my point, I'm not going to go for it again? Look, man, do I trust Maryland? Not a chance in hell. How could I? Come on, man. I have a brain. The other side of it is, do I trust Virginia? Not a chance in hell. How could I? Now, Virginia is off to a nice 2-0 start to the season. They won by 1 point at Wake Forest last week, and they beat Richmond in their opener. Maryland's 2.5-point favorites, you said?
They are.
There's a part of me that wants to play the points here, but I don't know.
But you're a homer and you're not going to.
No, it's more if it was a real. If I thought it was a real team, I actually would. And honestly, if it was 3.5, I would. 100%, I would. Maryland.
Wow.
I'm hoping that there are a lot of people like you, Glenn, that buys into. I mean,
I'm not buying into anything.
I thought they would go to the Bluebonnet Bowl. Maybe it's the Poulon Weed Eater Bowl now because they're 1-1.
Show some
I don't
respect.
know. I don't know what cockamamie bowl they're going to go to by sneaking out a 7-win season. Didn't they blow out Virginia last year?
They did. Yeah. It was a Friday night game. It was a great time, great atmosphere as well.
You know who else they blew out last year?
Michigan State.
Michigan State. So I'm going with the Wahoos.
Listen to you. Listen to you. Quick.
I'm going Maryland as well. I'm gonna bank on their defense creating more turnovers again. And what's his face? Calandria, the guy who threw like 3 interceptions in that game last year as well. I'm expecting him. I don't know if he'll throw 3 interceptions.
Their defense
again.
that gave up like 1 billion yards through the air last week.
Yeah, I'll take.
Okay.
I will take Maryland as well. No. Well, I mean, yeah, Maryland's defense did give up, but they also forced some turnovers, and Virginia's defense isn't any good either. They barely got by Wake Forest. All right, Maryland. Joining Ken on Virginia, Jeremy and James. Yeah, you're not a lone wolf.
But it also means that Andrew Stecker's on our side.
Yeah, not good. Friday Night Lights. Number 20 Arizona going to number 14 K-State. Wildcats versus Wildcats. It is on Fox and is at 8 p.m. tomorrow. K-State 7-point favorites, 7 even.
Really? That seems like a big number, right? I was expecting that to be a smaller number. I think I have to play the point. I like Arizona, right? Like,
sure, they had. I mean. They won their first 2 games, but neither of them were like they were against inferior opponents, and neither were like overly. They beat New Mexico 61-39.
Okay, well it sounds like they scored a lot of points.
They did.
K-State struggled with Tulane. I mean, like
they beat Northern Arizona 22-10 last week. But it's an in-state.
I have no idea. I just feel like that Arizona is pretty good. And
Tulane's good too. So
Tulane's good, but they're not. They lost they lost Pratt.
Yeah,
like
they're not last year.
You said it's 7 or 7.5?
7 even.
7 even. I'll play the points. Give me Arizona.
It's probably the smarter pick. It probably is, but as I've proven so far,
you are a college guy though. You are a college football guy apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I'm going to take Kansas State. I like their defense actually. To keep Arizona down. Arizona's got to travel. I don't love the points, but I'll take Kansas State.
KZ on Kansas State. I'm taking Arizona as well, just because I like Fafita and Tet McMillan, that wide receiver, a lot as well. So I expect them to definitely keep it close, if not win the game outright as well. So I like Arizona a lot. I'm not impressed by Avery. Everybody I think likes Avery Johnson. He's the K-State quarterback. And again, he just wasn't all that impressive. Obviously, was down at Tulane last week, and I think it was raining too. But yeah, I'm taking Arizona. I am with Glenn. Joining us is Joe Serpico, John Proctor, and Kyle Ottenheimer.
Whew, okay.
Which meaning,
yes, thank you.
Stetka and the rest are on Kansas State.
Very good.
Final college matchup of just a massive college football slate. Where game day will be number 16 LSU.
What is this? Why is
how with all this movement do we have not one good college football game?
Well, apparently everybody thinks the game of the week is Boston College, Missouri, but the rest of us are like, what? And then we don't realize
Boston
that
College thinks. I think there's the other
Missouri, but nobody realizes Missouri is ranked the number 6 team in the country.
Team.
They're the number 6 team in the country, and none of us realize that. None of us could tell you.
I don't know what the
we couldn't tell you who the coach was at Missouri. Like we don't know anything about them, so that's part of the problem. But I have it's bat ass that this is the game that game day is going to. This feels like it's
Mizzou minus 16 is the line.
Okay, well that's...
And I think Mizzou covers as well.
I have no idea. I don't know what to even think. This feels like a deal they brokered with the SEC of some sort to say we're gonna do game day at just whatever random This is just random SEC game.
Would you do Oregon at Oregon State?
No. Although the
Oregon's favored by
Pac-12 is back,
well.
baby. Pac-12 is back. Boise State. And
LSU at
San
South
Diego
Carolina. LSU is favored by 7 on the road.
What am I supposed to say here? I don't.
Why?
I guess it's just gonna have to be a play the points thing for me too here. Like I think LSU is better than what we saw in week 1, but I don't know. I don't trust anybody involved with this game. So play the points, rabid atmosphere. I guess I'll take South Carolina.
I feel like they're begging people to take South Carolina here, because we've played this game over the last couple of years. Like everybody's saying South Carolina's back, they're going to be better, they're going to be better, and then they get into a big game and they do nothing every single time, and I can't trust them. LSU's done this a couple of times. They've had a letdown early in this season. They've come back to play well. I'm going to take LSU here.
Yeah, I really wanted to, take South Carolina too, so I could say go Cox, but this is not going to be a go Cox weekend. I think LSU wins by probably 2 touchdowns in this one. Glenn, you were very much the minority, so bad news for KZ and I. Stecca's on our side, but it is Kyle and Ryan Shell on your side.
Random.
Those are the only two.
And for Kyle, it might just be about saying go Cox. It really might be nothing more.
Yeah,
I really wanted to. I mean, LSU's just got the better players.
All right, we got to go. We got
Buffalo at Miami tonight. Miami at home are 2.5-point favorites on the debut of Thursday Night on Prime this season.
Man, what do you do with this? Like, I have no idea what to expect here. I think Miami is better than Buffalo, and so playing at home on a Thursday night, I think they should be better, but I'm not sure how much confidence I have in Miami either. I guess I'll just default to they're at home on a Thursday night, and maybe this really will be the season where Josh Allen just wows out every week and does his Lamar Jackson impression, and that's the story. But I don't know. I think Miami's better. I'll take Miami.
Yeah, there's so many questions with Miami because I don't know what the running back situation is tonight. I'd feel a little bit better if, Achane was a full go, but even if he's playing, I don't think he's a full go. So I'm gonna take Buffalo. I think offensively they look good enough for me. Maybe like you said, it's just Josh Allen's gonna be that guy every week. Divisional foe. Thursday night, I'll take a couple of points and take the Bills.
Yeah, the same thing was giving me the hang-ups. What are they going to do with Achane? And then I was like, even if Achane's not there, they still have obviously Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and they are at home, and then the Bills have Josh Allen. And I don't know how the heck we're supposed to do this ever. I'm going Josh Allen and the Bills. That's for really no other reason than I guess they have Josh Allen, and it's prime time, so. Sure. I'm on the Bills along with KZ. Kyle is on the Bills. Jeremy on the Bills. And James on the Bills.
Okay.
So you have...
It's not good. Not good.
Andrew Stecca.
Not great.
And the majority on your side.
Not great.
As well. On to Sunday, New Orleans at Dallas. It is a 1 o'clock game on Fox, and the Cowboys are 6.5-point favorites against the Saints.
I still have Cowboys questions, right? Like, I still have... I think it's going to matter at some point that they don't run the ball. Like, I do think that they can't just get away with that all season. I also saw what they did to a good defense in week 1. So, like, it's hard for me to imagine the Saints are suddenly shutting them down, despite the fact that I think the Saints have another really good defense. God, man. And I don't know what to make of the Saints against, They played the Panthers. It's in Dallas. Hate this. Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Cowboys as well. I think this number would have been much, much higher if you didn't look at the 47 that New Orleans put up last week, which is a mirage to me because of who they played and just the ineptness of what Carolina could be the rest of the year. Nothing offensively from them, couldn't stop anyone. But Dallas is at home. Dallas is the September champs of the NFL normally, and then they do what they do in the postseason down the stretch. So I'll ride the September Cowboys.
I'm taking the Cowboys as well. I think they also win it pretty comfortably against the Saints. The rebackers of the Saints, John Proctor, taking New Orleans along with Joe Serpico and Jeremy Kahn.
Damn it.
So Steckel's on our side.
Damn it. Actually, it might be worse to have Ken on our side now. Like, I don't know.
Might be.
Yeah.
Might be. We don't know, especially in the NFL.
Tampa at Detroit. Detroit laying 7.5 at home against the Buccaneers.
7.5. What a number.
I know.
God.
It's the biggest. Oh, I guess the Ravens were the biggest of the week, but is that the second biggest of the week?
Man, you really don't want to pick the Buccaneers here. But God, 7.5? 7.5? Oh, I hate this, man. I really hate this number. I don't know that I've ever hated a number as much as I hate this number. You know what? I'm going to do the thing that Ken just did. They're begging you to bet the Buccaneers. I'm not doing it, Lions.
You know, outside of the Ravens, I may not. There may not be a bigger Lions fan. I love their coach. I love their offense. I love what they're building. And they are begging me to take Tampa.
Yeah.
But Tampa's offense is good.
I know.
I mean, they're good. And the defense, you know, for Detroit is still a work in progress. They're getting better. They'll be better, but it's still a work in progress. 7.5 is just too much. I'm going to be the sucker, and Detroit wins the game, but 7.5 is too much. I'll take Tampa.
I'm gonna be the sucker as well. I mean, it's 7.5. It's I don't know how.
I'm with you.
They're probably gonna win by. They're probably gonna win by 8. So I'm taking the Bucks, and because it feels like they could win this game.
I understand.
So I'm taking the Bucks along with KZ. On the lines is Glenn, James, Jeremy. Darn it, Andrew's on the Bucks. So Glenn, James, Jeremy, and Proctor are on the Detroit Lions, laying 7.5.
Dumb line. Next,
Cincy at Kansas City in the 4 o'clock window, 4:25 on CBS. KC, Kansas City -5 against the Bengals.
I don't expect the Bengals to be as bad as they were in Week 1. I don't know how they possibly could be. And we can do the bit about how Joe Burrow's got Patrick Mahomes' number. In a way, I actually feel like that's why I feel so strong about the Chiefs. Like, this is the perfect time for Patrick Mahomes to make a statement that, like, it ain't what you think it is. I think the Bengals are going to be all right, but I'm going to ride with the Chiefs again here.
Yeah, this is, week 2 is different than, like, halfway after, second half of the season. The reality is that the Bengals are not a very good September team normally. They start off really slow first 2 weeks. I think they have more internal problems with the chase, and they have 2 wide receivers who are just not happy to be there right now because they're not getting paid. How hurt is Higgins, and how much, what kind of incentive does he have to go out there if he's not 100%? They're trying to figure out a run game. They're trying to figure out some offensive line stuff. Kansas City looks like they could be a problem. They got a lot of team speed. That's gonna be a problem for teams this year that they last year really didn't pose a problem. It's only 5. I'll take Kansas City.
Again, this is the same kind of as tonight, where I just have no idea where to go with this one, because the Bengals do play the Chiefs close, and I mean, it does seem like this is a different Chiefs team than last. Like, this is a better Chiefs team than last year, at least a better Chiefs offense. And my instinct was to go Bengals because Joe Burrow plays them well, and he seems to be the one guy that is really right now with the Bengals. So I'm gonna Andrew's tell.
Oh no!
So we are, I guess not lone wolfing, but we're lone wolfing together against everybody else. Bengals.
All right.
Sunday Night Football: Chicago at Houston. Bears are 6-point dogs against the Texans. Texans -6.
Yeah, this feels like it should be more than that.
Yeah.
I get it. The Bears defense is the Bears defense is not getting enough credit. And the way that we're dismissing the Bears for what happened last week, we're not giving the Bears defense enough credit. The Bears defense is better than it's ever been before, and if they can get things figured out offensively, they might be the scary team that we think they are. The Texans are the scary team that we think they are. Texans.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Texans as well. So many offensive weapons. Diggs coming into the fold just added another one. Williams has to look better. I mean, it's great. Defense isn't going to be able to put up 21 points like they did last week every single week. Your offense has to do something. Williams will be better. I just don't know if he's better on the road in a tough place to play against a good upcoming team. I'll take Houston as well.
Me too. I will take the Texans. Just the better team. They're the better team. Andrew Stecco once again going to try, I guess, steal some points here. Bears. He's taking the Bears and other.
Remember, he's got to get back to the bottom.
Okay.
So that he can spectacularly.
I really need to get off the Bengals. Can I go back?
Yeah, right.
Jeremy Kahn is joining him on the Chicago Bears.
It's not the least surprise. Jeremy Kahn's going to bet against the public. He does not care. He's betting against the public. That's what he's doing.
He's going to be wrong. Bears and, so Stecco and Jeremy Kahn on the Bears. Finally, Raiders at the Ravens. The Ravens home opener. They are laying 9 points at 1 o'clock on CBS.
I hate that so much. The 1 o'clock thing is definitely a factor here. I am going to choose to trust the Ravens, but I hate myself for doing it. Ravens is the pick.
I couldn't have said that any better.
Yeah.
I hate this number.
Yep.
This is a game we see them every year. We see 2 games first half of the season normally that you're like, this is a win and this is an easy game, and it becomes either a struggle where they barely win or they lose some stupid way. And this scares me. This just scares me. The offensive line still scares me. Max Crosby can get after the quarterback.
Sure can.
Lamar is terrific, but I don't know what the offensive identity is of this team. Should be able to run the ball. Will they commit to run the ball? I hate the 9 number.
I hate it.
But I'm going to be stupid and take the Ravens.
That's my guy. Mr. Stupid is what they call him. Ken Zalis.
I hate everything about
it. We are together on this, that it is just a bad stink line. All right, real quick, what's everybody else doing?
I'm surprised you guys are like so kind of iffy on this. I feel very good about the Ravens this weekend.
We saw them against Gardner Minshew last year. Like that,
have you watched go back and watch the Commanders game from a couple of years ago? I mean, we've seen this.
How confident were we with them going into Pittsburgh last year?
I'm between the Ravens and Eagles for my Survivor pick this week. So I think I like the Ravens a lot
good for you for still being alive, because 60% of the people
were on the Bengals last week.
Okay, you're sticking with the Ravens, Ken?
I am.
Okay, all right. On the
Didn't
Raiders.
I write that?
No, you did. I just wanted to make sure because you were like very conflicted. I remember in your message.
Even
Paul
in my
and Kyle are on the Raiders. Jeremy Kahn on the Raiders, and John Proctor on the Raiders.
That means we have Stecco. That's a problem. That's not going to work. All right, very good. All right, KZ, what's going on in your world? Nothing. You're gonna just
absolutely. You know what? It's funny. This has been great, Glenn.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself so much.
Yeah, just creating fake cockamamie nonsense leagues where I got to play Derek Carr in fantasy football. That's what you're doing with your life now. I hate you. We will see you on Sunday.
But even at least you don't have to start Malik Willis, because there are people that are going to have to do that.
That is a thing. We'll see you after the game Sunday for Project Game Day. Love you, buddy. Appreciate you.
You will. Take care.
That's Ken Zalis with us every Thursday here on GCR. CountySports.zone is the website for you to go to find out all of the scores for all of the games. Every high school around the state, public schools, private schools, every sport, they've got you updated. CountySports.zone. It's proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. As we mentioned, Maryland travels down to Virginia on Saturday night. Our next guest is off to a really great start to the season. I know he trades some of that in order to be 2-0 at the moment, but my word, he is impressive. He is Maryland wide receiver Tai Felton, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Ty, it's Glenn in Baltimore. It's great to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely, dude. Ty, can you tell me about, when you get a new quarterback, and I know that you guys didn't even know exactly who the quarterback was going to be. What is the onus for you to spend more time? And I know Billy played a little bit in the past, so perhaps you had developed a little bit of that. But how did that connection get stronger coming into the season? What did you do to make sure you guys hit the ground running this year?
I mean, ever since the winter and spring, knowing that we're going to have a new quarterback, just getting work with all the quarterbacks, whether that was on the field, watching film, doing spot catches, just doing anything to get us 1% better every day. Even hanging out off the field, playing basketball together, going out to eat, just learning the guys on and off the field, learning their story, their personal story and stuff like that. So all that being built up from the winter, spring, and summer has all came to true fruition now. So, yeah, just getting to know those guys on and off the field so we can have be successful on the field.
Ty, I want to go back for a little ways if we could. Your decision to come to Maryland, right? You're a DMV kid. Did you was it always about staying local? Was it all about the wild success of Maryland receivers in recent memory? Did the wide receiver play a factor at all in your decision?
Right. Coming out, I knew a little bit about Maryland, but I didn't know too much about Maryland. I originally wanted to go to Virginia Tech coming out of high school, but I definitely knew about Stephon Diggs and DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I think around that time DJ Moore started to come out. He went first round, so I definitely seen the lineage of the receivers those guys had. So, and then definitely the loyalty this coaching staff had for me. So that was one of the big reasons I made my commitment to Maryland.
Ty, did you the confidence you had in yourself? Did you know that when I get my opportunity, I'm going to be the number one guy? I'm going to be the guy that everybody's talking about. Did you always have that confidence, or is that something that came as the opportunity came for you?
I would say a little bit of both, and it's a little bit of me just going into every week, just being dedicated to get 1% better. I can always get better every week. There's always mistakes and stuff we're going to make throughout the week and in games and stuff. So it's just my dedication to wanting to get better, and then I have a great team of guys who push me to get better. So when I'm seeing other guys on defense, such as Dante Trader, Glenn Miller, and then guys on offense, such as KP, Caden Prather, Rome, and seeing those guys work, it makes me want to improve my game every day. So I have a great group of guys around me, so those guys inspire me to be great every day.
That's cool, man. He is Tai Felton, Maryland wide receiver. He's with us here on GCR. All right, let's get it out of the way. Obviously, that was a bummer what happened on Saturday. What is it like when you go through something like that? How does the team, rally, try to push that aside and move on from something that stings the way I have no doubt that it stung for you guys?
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely a stinger one. But the one thing is just sitting back and realizing all the work we put in. We've been working ever since January. So we know nobody's perfect. No team is perfect. We know we're going to make mistakes. And we ended up letting that one slip. But at the end of the day, it's only week 2. We still have a lot more work to put in, but we also have a lot more games to play. So we're not going to let one week or a couple mistakes in the game put us underground and us be moping about it and stuff of that nature. So it's all about us just going in this week ready to work and knowing that it's a new week and knowing that everything that we want is still in front of us. So just going back to work, hitting the ground hard so we can try to come back in on the right end this weekend.
Do you find yourself, Ty, now that you're a senior, now that you're the guy that's produced at the highest level, do you need to be more that guy, setting the tone and taking on some of those responsibilities in a week like this to get everybody back up?
Yes, sir, 100%. Me being a senior is definitely big because I'm one of the oldest guys in the receiving room now. I'm one of the oldest guys on the team now. So I'm knowing that a lot of guys are looking up to me. So me setting an example on and off the field, such as thing as going to class and getting extra catches after practice and stuff of that nature, all that matters. So me being a senior is definitely one of the big things. So I'm trying to set an example for those guys every week.
Obviously you guys have big goals, and you came into the season wanting to, look at everything that you guys have done the last few years, right? The foundation's been set, the tide has turned. Is it important to have that, hey, the goals are still in front of us? Do you have to pick guys up that way and say, hey, look, it sucks, but everything that we wanted to do, we're still capable of doing this year?
Right, yeah, 100%. Just telling those guys that throughout this journey, we're going to make mistakes. Like I said before, nobody's perfect. You're going to have losses and mistakes that happen, but as long as we keep pushing and we keep fighting every week, starting in practice, starting in the film room, throughout the week, because our preparation throughout Monday through Friday is really big, and whatever you see Monday through Friday is what you're going to see on Saturday. So one of our big mottos is the practice is the show, and the show is practice. So as long as we continue to try to get 1% better every week, we'll come out on the right end on the weekend.
Ty, you obviously had a great season a year ago, and everybody knew who you were, and you came in with the bullseye on your back, right? And yet,
yes,
here you are a couple weeks into the season, you're leading the nation in receiving yards, right? How much pride do you have in, I can do I don't care what you throw at me. I can do I am that guy, if you will. I am him, as the young people like to say.
Right, yeah. It's definitely one big thing I worked on this offseason is my mental aspect of the game, how I go into the games, my self-confidence, how do I talk to myself, and stuff of that nature. But once again, it's just me wanting to do it for my guys. I put in a lot of work with this team and the culture and the player-led driven culture that we have built throughout this offseason. It's just me wanting to do my job, me wanting to do it for my brother next to me. So just seeing the work that all my guys put in, this is really a team that's really close to my heart. So it's just me wanting to go out there and play for my guys and play for the coaches, because I know they have belief in me, and I have all the belief in all my guys. So 100% that middle aspect, and me wanting to work for my brothers.
Who's the better football player, Tai Felton or EA Sports College Football Tai Felton?
I would definitely say EA Sports College Football Tai Felton, because it's a lot of stuff that goes on. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a crazy play right there. So I would say EA Sports.
What is? I've talked to a couple of guys about it. What is like the dichotomy? Do you as a senior, like when you guys are playing with each other, like do you get to claim Maryland? Like, hey, I get to play as us because I'm the senior, I'm the upperclassman. That's the way it works. You guys are gonna have to pick somebody else.
Usually it's well understood that anytime I'm playing anybody on the team, we're doing a spring game. So white versus red, Maryland versus Maryland. So it's very hard for us to use any other team. So we usually do the old school spring game. So we'll do Maryland versus Maryland for the most part.
That is great, actually. I really dig that, man. Let me go back a second, because we were talking about the quarterback to begin with. One of the things that I noticed immediately, and it dated back to last year, was the way that you guys rallied around Billy. And I have no doubt that you would have rallied around whoever the quarterback would have been. But what is it about Billy? Why does he resonate with you guys, and why do you guys have such – it just seems like there's something really special about the relationship you have with him and the love that you guys have for that dude. And maybe is it about all of like the dirty work that he's been willing to do over the course of the last couple of years?
Right, 100%. One thing about Billy, and I've been knowing Billy since high school. We're from the same area. We played each other in high school, and one thing I kind of realized about him is his determination to get better every day. He's a guy who comes into work every day. He's up here. He's one of the first guys in the facility in the morning and one of the last guys to leave at night. He doesn't leave the facility till 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night just watching film. So his determination to be destined for greatness is definitely one thing that's big about him. And then this is care and love for the guys. He's checking up on anybody on the team, whether if you're a starter or whether if you're a three on the team. He cares for everybody on the team. So it's just great to have.
You guys vibe with him, and there's something really cool about that relationship. And boy, has he been impressive too. There's no doubt about that. Ty, you mentioned you wanted to go to Virginia Tech. Is there a little extra for you on Saturday night? Is there a little something there, like that maybe there's always been a little Virginia hate inside your body? Like, is there something particularly special maybe about being a Virginia guy playing down in Charlottesville on Saturday night?
Yeah, for sure. Me growing up in Virginia, going to Stonebridge, knowing a lot of Virginia Tech people, I actually have some friends. One of my good friends in high school, Bert McFarland, he plays lacrosse at UVA.
Okay.
So and then I know Chico Bennett, a couple guys from my area. So me just going back to the home state and playing down there is definitely going to be big. I know it's going to be a highly competitive game. Me knowing some guys on the Cavalier team, so it's definitely big. Me going back to the home state and having to play a night game and an old rivalry game and stuff of that nature. So it'd definitely be a highly competitive game for sure.
It'll be a fun one. A lot of old Maryland fans remember there's an ACC rivalry. I know that's like way beyond you. Like I know that's way before you. But for a lot of old Maryland fans, it's a pretty cool moment to face an old rival as you guys get together on Saturday night. Hey, Ty, if I could, it's funny because I happen to know your guy Mason. I was doing an event with Beau Brade the other night up here in Baltimore, and I was chatting with him. Can you tell me about like how cool it's been for you being at Maryland, being able to tap into NIL, get yourself out there the way that you have, and have some cool partnerships and allowing that to be a part of your life moving forward?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely huge. It's definitely a huge blessing because a lot of people, they see the money and all the NIL stuff, but at Maryland, we do a great job of us just getting into the community, getting into the youth, being able to have a relationship with younger kids, grade school kids, whether if that's giving them advice about football, giving them advice about life, playing basketball with them in the playground and stuff like that. So it's definitely giving me an opportunity to tap in and grow and build relationships with guys in the youth and in the community. So I'll say it's definitely a huge blessing just to have that in my circle.
I think it's really cool, man, and I appreciate the fact that you're that you're prioritizing. I know that's a big deal at Maryland, is prioritizing the community in those NIL partnerships, and I think that's an awesome thing, man. I know it's at Tai Felton, TAI Felton on Instagram, right? Is where everybody can be giving you a follow. Are you on Twitter at all?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter. Yes, sir, I am.
What's the Twitter handle?
Playboy Ty Shaw. I forgot to change my Instagram name used to be that since like 8th grade. I ended up changing it, but yeah, my Twitter is Playboy Ty Shaw.
Ty Shaw. Give him a follow there as well. Ty, I mentioned Beau. Maybe one day down the road, we wouldn't be angry if this led to Baltimore Raven Ty Felton. That would be pretty cool too. But I know that's a long way away, and you got a lot of things that you're going to try to accomplish before we're talking about that. Best of luck on Saturday night down in Charlottesville. Continue to have the massive season that you're already having, man. It's really a joy to watch you play, bro. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Yes, sir. Once again, thank you guys for having me. You guys have a blessed one.
Thank you, bro. Ty Felton with us here on GCR, who's, man, does that dude look the part. Like that guy, that's a football player. And is rising up NFL draft conversation. Like, his stock is sky high at the moment. So appreciate Ty Felton taking some time for us this morning as Maryland tries to bounce back. That dude, that guy, whew, he is the real deal, bro. Like, real good football player. All right, when we come back in, we're going to preview Ravens Raiders. Andrew Catalon is on the call for CBS. He's going to join us. Don't forget, Stan the Fan Charles and Eric Garfield, they got together last night, so you'll be able to watch that show today. Facebook.com/PressBoxSports. Click on the videos tab. Go to YouTube.com/PressBoxOnline or PressBoxOnline.com/video in order to watch it. And if you missed Stan, Ross, and Luke earlier in the week, you can watch that show in those same locations. It's Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Hey Baltimore, it's number 10, Arthur Maulet, and I'm hoping you'll slot us in all season long for the Arthur Maulet Show. We will be traveling around the region all season, giving you the chance to get to know me and my teammates. There will be some football talk and a lot more. You can watch this show live on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages and listen every Friday night on 105.7 The Fan. Find out more at PressBoxOnline.com/Maulet. The Arthur Maulet Show, the only show in town that's a work of art.
The next Arthur Maulet Show is Tuesday, October 1st at the Green Turtle in Towson. It's brought to you by Easy Pass and 1-800-GAMBLER.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Whether your focus is luxury and comfort, convenience and technologically advanced connectivity, or sporty performance and aggressive styling, we've got the perfect Highlander for you. Check out buyatoyota.com for deals on new Highlanders from your local Toyota dealer today.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland, at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The drug scene in Maryland is changing. Fentanyl and xylazine are being added to street drugs, and you may not even know it. Xylazine is not even intended for humans, and fentanyl is an opioid 50 times stronger than heroin, and contributed to over 80% of overdose deaths in our state. Anyone who uses drugs, even occasionally, is at risk of overdose. To learn more, visit stopoverdose.maryland.gov or call or text 988.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. There, you just saved money with Easy Pass, all without slowing or receiving a notice in the mail. Well done, thrifty driver, well done. Get your Easy Pass at DriveEasyMD.com.
Contrary to what some people believe, I actually like this guy when he sleeps. Glenn Clark, talking sports.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. Today's show is also brought to you by the print issue of Press Box, which is available for free at your neighborhood Royal Farms, any of the hundreds of locations around town where you find Press Box. You can read it all at PressBoxOnline.com. See Kyle Hamilton on the cover there. Great cover story from Bo Smolka. Go pick that up today. Didn't have a chance to talk about the Kyle Van Noy thing. If you didn't see, he's doing a podcast for Yahoo with Gerald McCoy and Van Noy. And not happy about the medical care he received in Kansas City. Apparently, the home team provides an ophthalmologist. Like, there isn't a traveling ophthalmologist specifically that goes with teams.
Maybe it'll change now.
I don't know. Maybe. And it's funny because when this came, so if you missed it, Kyle Van Noy essentially said he had to wait, after he got hurt, he waited an entire quarter before he was seen by an ophthalmologist. Now, he did say that, like, the care that he received at the, I think it's the University of Kansas hospital that they took him to was very good, but, like, he said he was pissed about the fact that he was just sitting there waiting for an entire quarter. He's like, what if there was a chance I could go back in the game? And those are the two tricky aspects of this. Because the easiest thing to say is, it's unacceptable. The correct thing to say is, it's wildly unacceptable. And it's unacceptable on two levels. The first is, his first point, what if it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and there was a chance I could go back into the game? And that's where it teeters into, is there chicanery at foot? Were the Chiefs purposeful in saying to their ophthalmologist, their in-house guy, no rush. No rush. You can wait it out. In hopes of making sure that Kyle Van Noy wouldn't be able to return to the game. On the flip side, as Kyle Van Noy also pointed out during his conversation, what if it was worse? What if there was like a risk to losing my eye? There's no getting around how blatantly unacceptable it is. Now, ultimately, Kyle Van Noy wasn't going to be able to return to the game, so this is not – it's hard to pin the Chiefs were cheating. There was no difference that was going to be made from a football standpoint if the ophthalmologist got to him much quicker. Kyle Van Noy, fractured orbital bone, wasn't going to return to the game, isn't going to be playing for a little while, which is another part of the problem that we're going to have to talk about. Like, we're going to be dismissive of it, but the Ravens didn't have a lot in the edge rush department to begin with. But it's unacceptable no matter what. I reached out to some league folks to sort of get their, just, hey, man, what do you make of this? And the one thing I did get back was like, hey, the ophthalmologist doesn't get called on a lot during the course of NFL games. It's very rare to have a specific eye injury. I think we famously remember, sadly, Orlando Brown, years ago, Orlando Brown Sr., that is, having the flag thrown in his eye, which was a wild accident. But it's rare that you see eye injuries occur during football games, in large part because guys are wearing helmets. So it's possible that, yes, they have an ophthalmologist present, but not one that's like waiting on the sideline there, because it's just so rare that you need one. And then it took a little while for the ophthalmologist. Let's just say if the ophthalmologist was sitting upstairs in the, I happen to know, having covered games in Kansas City, that like the press box is on the very top floor of the stadium, and it's an older stadium. It's not one where it's convenient for getting down. But none of it gives you the excuse of a full quarter. And maybe, again, the truth is somewhere in the middle. Maybe it felt like a full quarter. It was more like, 8 to 10 minutes of gameplay. But none of it is okay. And it's absolutely, if this is nothing more than, boy, we were not as prepared as we should have been because it's not something that we deal with regularly, then the response from the league should be to step in. The response from the league should be, all right, moving forward, every team now has to have ophthalmologist on the sideline during every game so that immediately when something like this occurs, there can be care given. And maybe you will go the entire season without one more ophthalmologist being needed to give immediate care. But that's something that you'll have to adjust and learn from this situation if it's legitimate. But look, I mean, the other side of it, the side where someone's going to ask, they're going to ask. Because it's unacceptable. And I don't have any reason to believe that the Chiefs would have been participating in ease up, because that's heinous. The idea of not providing medical care when someone needs it is heinous. So it's not an allegation I would ever make, nor do I think it would be responsible for anyone to make it. But this is the reality. When you screw something up this badly, you allow for the conspiracy theorists, you allow for there to be people that say, were they trying to make sure that Kyle Van Noy couldn't get back out on the field? And then maybe the next question is, does every team need to travel with their own ophthalmologist? Seems over the top, but just crazy that this is the circumstance they ended up in, and wildly unacceptable. I mean, purely unacceptable. All right. What Colson with a big old smile on his face? What's that? What? Go ahead. Come on. John Colson, most worshipful grandmaster.
I used to sit next to the team ophthalmologist for the Washington Capitals at games all the time.
The ophthalmologist sat in the stands?
Sat in the stands behind the goal. The stadium, that, in my opinion, is an issue.
No, that can't be the answer.
But it could be if it took a quarter to get there. Because otherwise the dude was sitting in the stands or somewhere else where he's immediately reachable, and he should have been there in a couple minutes.
It's bonkers. It's bonkers that there's any scenario where the ophthalmologist isn't at the stadium.
Yeah. But do you see my point? I actually sat next to a guy that does
even
this.
if he doesn't have you don't have him in the stands. These should be if you're running an NFL game where there isn't an ophthalmologist at the stadium.
Correct.
I really struggle with the possibility.
So let's assume he was at the stadium. Is
Correct.
my point?
Yes.
That means they really screwed up.
Yes.
It wasn't like there should be another ophthalmologist on the team plane or anything.
No,
like
I don't
that.
think that should be the case. Yes, I think that they deserve heavy scrutiny for them. This with ophthalmologists moving forward.
It was super structured.
You're going to have the ophthalmologist on the sideline. You're going to have him right there. You're going to say that's annoying. We might not need the ophthalmologist all season. So what? Deal with it.
Yeah.
Ophthalmologist has to be on the sideline.
Or immediately available in some way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Like,
I totally
can't be sitting on the top level. Can't have to wait for people. Like, has to be available if it's not on the field, in the bowels of the stadium, so they can immediately come out like a cart would come out.
Well, this guy was about 5 rows back behind the goal, and you know how the corners in hockey. if something had happened badly, he could walk right down and right out on the ice.
But what
and they
I would
let him
say
out
is
on the
even
ice.
that could be in an NFL game could even be troubling because now you've got to make sure that all of these every individual security person knows this is a person that's allowed
Agreed.
to come to the field. This is I would
Yeah.
say either you're on the field or you're given a little office. You sit in a little office near a locker room so that if something happens, you can immediately be sent to the field
Yeah.
quickly.
Agreed.
Get to
I
the
just
field.
thought it was interesting how I'd actually sat next to a dude that does it. And
It's
it was
quite
fascinating.
interesting.
I thought it was
Quite random.
brilliant,
Quite-
actually.
It's quite interesting. Anything you'd like to plug or promote?
Dude, how cool was Arthur's
Yeah,
show
Arthur Maulet.
on?
Great,
I
dude.
mean,
tremendous.
So the next one's on October 1st at Green Turtle in Towson.
Push the next one back a week for a couple of different reasons, including, look, we'd like to get Arthur back out on the field or as close to back out on the
Yep.
field as we can
Yep.
possibly get him. And doing more October shows seems like a good thing because he's going to be sidelined for the first 4 weeks of the year. But as far as him as a dude and as a host.
And like 100 people rolling in to check
Yeah, it
the
was
show
cool.
out.
That
It
was
very
really cool. It
and
was
the Little League football teams.
Yeah, it was seamless.
Yeah.
Arthur was just awesome. We'll get you segment number 2 of the show with Beau Brade coming up a little bit later on this morning, but we're excited about that.
Cool.
We'll be doing that again October 1st at the Green Turtle in Towson.
Green Turtle in
Find out
Towson.
more pressboxonline.com/Maulet.
We're gonna be all over this area this year because then the next one is out at Mother's in Timonium.
Yep.
And then the one after that is at the Gourmet at Kenilworth.
Right,
Kenilworth Bazaar.
Right, I can almost see it from
which
here.
is super cool.
Yeah,
place is beautiful.
Looking forward to that.
I was there. They
Looking
fed me
forward to that.
yesterday.
Oh,
the food is
Huh,
extraordinary.
I didn't get that invite.
Well,
That's
you're
weird.
gonna.
That's weird.
Actually, they're a new
Didn't get that
sponsor. They're a new sponsor, and you will have gift cards to give away.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love everything about that.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Bye.
it. It's John Colson, most worshipful Grandmaster. All right, Ravens Raiders this Sunday. Had the opportunity to catch up with the man who will be calling the game for CBS, Andrew Catalon, right here on GCR. Coming up this Sunday, Ravens Raiders here in Baltimore. If you're not going to the game, you'll be watching it on CBS, and you will, of course, hear the beautiful tones of our next guest. He is on the call. He is Mr. Andrew Catalon, and he's with us now here on GCR. Andrew, it's Glenn in Baltimore. Always great to catch up with you, man. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate the kind intro, and I'm really excited to get back to Baltimore.
Yeah, it's always a festive atmosphere here, and of course there's always, for play-by-play guys, the fact that you're doing a game that involves Lamar Jackson, so it should be fun, right?
No doubt. I mean, when people ask me all the time, like, what are some of the better venues and environments when you do games, Baltimore is always towards the top of my list. Now, I'm a little biased because I love the broadcast booth, which nobody else cares about but me. But in terms of the atmosphere and the environment and the fans and the crowd, I mean, it's always right up there for me. So it's been a couple years since I've been down there, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Andrew, as far as what we've seen so far, I'll start with the Ravens and I'll get to the Raiders. I felt largely encouraged by what I saw in Week 1 from the Baltimore Ravens, and the fact that it came down to a toe, right? Like that's the difference in the game is literally the not even a full toe, a part of a toe, and it's not because there's moral victories or anything like that. It's because I think we all knew to start the season, the offensive line was probably going to be a work in progress for the Baltimore Ravens. That's exactly what happened. Despite that, they were right there. I don't know. It's difficult because they still have to prove that they can do this in January. But I think right now you come out of it saying they're probably in pretty good shape to give themselves the chance of proving that they can do it in January.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I feel like obviously the disappointment of not coming away with a win is always going to be there. But there was a lot of positive signs. And, you mentioned the offensive line. I think that, going into an environment like that on opening day when they raised the banner, there's a lot of things that can go wrong in that situation. But I think a lot of things went right for the offensive line. And, I think the offense showed that there's going to be different ways they can beat you. We saw Lamar running. That's another dimension that, how much of that are we going to see this year? I just think there's a lot of things that opposing defenses really have to consider after what they saw from the Baltimore offense on opening night.
It's interesting you bring that up because we heard John Harbaugh the other day say, hey, we don't want to be just Derrick Henry 30 carries a game. And that sounds right. Like, I don't think the Ravens brought in Derrick Henry to suddenly say we want to be the Tennessee Titans. of the last few years and just give the entire identity of our offense is going to be Derrick Henry. But it does feel like moving forward, they probably want there to be more of a balance, and they probably want there to be a little bit more Derrick Henry. The game circumstances probably dictated that a little bit, and the performance of the offensive line and run blocking was miserable. I think the likelihood is probably not that you're going to see that much of Lamar Jackson running, and there'll be more of a balance between those two things.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think each week is different. I also think that, Derrick Henry, obviously the Ravens need to protect Lamar Jackson, but I do feel like Derrick Henry is a guy that you want to – there's a lot of tread on the tire. I mean, he had 280 carries last year. He's now 30 years old. This is a team that wants to peak in January, and I think they're going to need to make sure that Derrick Henry is fresh when you get to that point. Again, that doesn't mean there should necessarily be more on Lamar's plate running, but I don't think there will be. I feel like this is a balance that will go on throughout the course of the season. And again, I think it's a great addition for Baltimore, especially, as you said, if they don't use him 30 times, if they use him 15, 20 times, and then maybe it increases as the season goes on. I think that's kind of what would be a really perfect game plan for them.
Andrew Catalon, he'll be on the call Sunday for Ravens Raiders. He's with us here on GCR. And to your point, yeah, I think he's here for January, big time. What else interests you, right, Andrew? The story of the Ravens, and I hate to say it's boring for us, but the story of the Ravens really is about the postseason. So in the 16 games that still remain between now and when they're hopefully, for our sake, doing that, what interests you in trying to figure out, hey, is this the team that can finally break through and get past the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, well, we have our weekly where we, asked to talk to Coach Harbaugh, Lamar, and a couple other players or coaches. And this week it was a priority for me to sit down and talk to Zach Orr. I think that's a really fascinating story. He's 32 years old, as you know. He's never called plays before. Obviously, he's had some great training. I think that's an interesting storyline for this Baltimore team. How does he evolve? What is he like? How does he handle tough situations? I'm very fascinated to meet with him, in person this week. And I think that's a big storyline for Baltimore. And I know that, it's the Ravens defense, and he's a Raven. And, he learned from Mike McDonald and, all the great line of defensive coordinators, and it's the system that's in place. But to me, that gets a little overblown. I mean, he's going to have his own wrinkles. He's going to have difficult situations. How does he face that? To be so young and to be put in this position, I think that's a really interesting story for Baltimore this year.
No, I think it's a great point. And I think that we saw, again, some positives in week one. Obviously, the timeouts that they had to waste and communicate, that was a problem. And then I think the other issue that we're looking at with this Ravens defense, and we'll see it for the first time, no Kyle Van Noy for a little bit, right, with the fractured orbital. We saw David Ojabo get in the mix, but these young edge rushers, they're going to need some amount of production from that group. And, the confidence, I got to be honest with you, Andrew, is fairly low for me in that department.
Yeah, and I think that's fair in the sense of health, right? I mean, Ojabo has not been able to stay healthy. That's a big problem in his first two seasons. Can he stay healthy? I mean, he did have a sack against Kansas City. If he can stay healthy, can he be the guy that they thought they were drafting in the second round a couple of years ago out of Michigan before the torn Achilles on the pro day? So, again, I agree. That's a big question mark. I think a lot of it is health. When I think of the Ravens over the last few years, Marlon Humphrey played 10 games last year. Ojabo only played 5 games in the first 2 years. I just feel like if this is a team that stays healthy, they will produce, they will deliver because they're talented and they have the right system. Again, you can make that case a lot of teams. Are they going to stay healthy? But I think it's especially important for this Baltimore defense.
Yeah, I think it's a very good point. All right, let's go to the other side of things, Andrew. And I feel like on paper, it's easy to look at the Raiders and say, this is kind of a transition season, and it's ironic that we're dismissive of Gardner Minshew, remembering that Gardner Minshew, beat the Baltimore Ravens a year ago when he was an Indianapolis Colt. But are they more dangerous? Are they more compelling than perhaps we believe they are when we look at them on paper?
Hey, I watched the game against the Chargers week 1, and, you look at the final score, 22-10, the offense didn't do much. They turned the ball over. It's a little misleading. I mean, they played a much better game than the score would indicate. Their defense actually played really well. I mean, Justin Herbert was shut down. That Chargers offense did not do much, and aside from a couple of big runs late, J.K. Dobbins providing one of them, ironically. So, I watched the tape, and it didn't look as bad as the score. And, I do think their offense is very capable. I mean, they have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers at receiver. They have two really good tight ends in Michael Mayer and Brock Bowers, who's the 13th pick in the draft. There are some pieces here. I think there's questions about Antonio Pierce. Did a good job last year. Players love him. Can he coach in tough spots? We saw him punt last week on 4th and 1 from the LA 43-yard line. That backfired. So, I don't know what to expect from this Raiders team, but the thing I would caution Ravens fans about is they didn't look as bad as the score would indicate after you watch the tape in week 1.
That's fair. I know there's always the concern about like the proverbial trap game. I don't know. The fact that the Ravens lost in week 1, I'd be really surprised by them coming out flat in week 2.
I would too. Home opener, a game when you look at, I look at the Baltimore schedule. I mean, again, they're not looking this far ahead, but you and I can. I mean, they got to get this one with who's on deck and who's on deck after that. So, I think that they'll be ready to play. That John Harbaugh always has them ready to play. And, again, I think it's an uphill climb for Vegas. They're not coming out till Saturday. They have not fared well in 10 a.m. kickoffs. Ravens have had an extra couple of days rest. I mean, all these things line up in Baltimore's favor. But, again, in the NFL, you just never know.
That is true, right? Like, that is the proverbial this is why they play the game thing. Before I let you go, Andrew, your thoughts on the kickoff so far. This is very difficult for me because I have to admit to you, I hate it. It's too much. I don't like the fact that you guys have to go over the rules of that play every time. It just seems obnoxious for what we are used to the kickoff being. But every time I talk to a player about it, they're like, dude, I love this. So I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that you're going to still see a lot of touchbacks. I really do. I feel like if it was brought out to the 35-yard line, maybe it's a different story. I still think that you're going to see a lot of touchbacks. Now, will there'll be more, fewer touchbacks than last year? Yes, I do believe, and we did see a kick return for a touchdown in week 1 by the Arizona Cardinals. I think there will be a little more juice to the play. But I still think that in a big spot, coaches might just elect to have a touchback, and we'll see. I think it'll evolve every week. We didn't see anything in the preseason with it. Teams were pretty vanilla. We saw a few new wrinkles in week 1. We'll see what week 2 brings.
All right, Andrew Catalon, what's ahead for you after this week?
We only know 1 week beyond this. Next week I'll be doing the Colts as they take on the Bears. We were in Indianapolis last week for the Colts Texans. Houston looks legit. I mean, they have a really good squad. C.J. Stroud, is going to take the next step. So I think they're going to be a factor in the AFC.
He is, and I think they're going to be a major factor. I think there's no doubt about it. At Andrew Catalon on Twitter is how you follow him. Andrew, always appreciate you, man. Look forward to seeing you in Baltimore on Sunday. Thank you for spending a couple of minutes with us this morning.
You got it. Anytime.
It's Andrew Catalon with us here on GCR. I don't think we talked on this show much about the John Harbaugh, Derrick Henry comments. I don't know why it got so much attention. I don't know who thought that was what Derrick Henry was here to be. Like, why would you suddenly want – you have Lamar Jackson. Why would you suddenly want to be the Tennessee Titans? I think there will be games where Derrick Henry will get more carries. The game circumstances will dictate that you'll see a lot more Derrick Henry in the second half and sort of being the closer in those circumstances. I've said all along, based on the conversations I had, I think Derrick Henry's here for January. I think that's what it's all about. That's why they prioritize getting Derrick Henry. So yes, of course, I don't think Derrick Henry's going to get 30. I don't know why anybody thought that was the idea of bringing Derrick Henry in. If he didn't have Lamar Jackson's, different conversation. We come back in. There is a team plan for a championship this weekend. Maryland Whipsnakes going up against Utah on Sunday for the PLL title. We're going to chat with former Terp Matt Dunn about playing for a championship. That's next. It is a Thursday edition of Glenn Clark Radio.
Want to improve your golf game or learn to play for the first time? The Baltimore Golf Academy has fun, instructional programs for the beginner golfer to everyday players. The Baltimore Golf Academy can take your game to the next level. Enroll today at baltimoregolfacademy.com.
The ultimate fan experience awaits you at Sports and Social Maryland. See how we're raising the sports bar with our massive 100-foot media wall featuring 40 HD TVs and a 47-foot big screen. Bet on your favorite teams and this year's biggest events at the FanDuel Sportsbook while enjoying your favorite beers and cocktails, plus our delicious takes on bar food classics. Visit Sports and Social at Live Casino and Hotel Maryland at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Driving in Maryland? Did you know an Easy Pass from DriveEasyMD.com can save you time and money? Of course you did, because you are a thrifty driver. An antenna reads your Easy Pass transponder and automatically deducts the toll from your Easy Pass account. Learn more at DriveEasyMD.com.
Hagerstown, Maryland, a snapshot of American history that dates back centuries. Today, the roots of the city expand with another historical moment, the grand opening of Meredith Park, Hagerstown's new event stadium and home to the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Experience the energy, culture, and adventure. Plan your getaway today at America's newest and most innovative ballpark. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland. Visit Hagerstown.com.
Treat yourself and taste the Baltimore tradition that is the legendary Costas Inn. Hey, it's Stan the Fan Charles. For over 50 years, the Costas Inn has been a Baltimore original, dishing out their legendary fat, delicious, award-winning crab cakes and steamed crabs. It's crab season, so sit back and crack some crabs while watching the Birds pursue another divisional title on Costas's 15 TVs. On Monday night, the Costas Inn offers their half-pound jumbo lump crab cake with two sides for under $30. So head on down to the Costas Inn today at 4100 North Point Boulevard or visit them at CostasInn.com.
The votes were all counted, and the results are official. Royal Farms was named #1 for food in the USA Today 10 Best poll, receiving more votes than any other convenience store chain in America. The next time you want to get some good food fast, doesn't it make sense to go to Royal Farms? Voted best in the USA and home of world-famous chicken. Real fresh, real fast, Royal Farms.
Escape to Ocean City, Maryland, and discover a place that just feels lighter, where every day feels like Saturday and French fries are a food group, where flip-flops are always in fashion and seafood is always in season, where the boardwalk is bustling and the beach is right outside your door, where you can rise with the tide and feel like a kid again. Ocean City, Maryland, somewhere to smile about. Book your trip at OCOcean.com.
Gambling can be a fun and entertaining experience, but there are risks involved. If you're planning on betting on the game at the casino or on your phone or computer, know your limit, stay within it. Set a budget and a time to stop. Remember, gambling isn't a financial solution, and it doesn't mix well with alcohol or drugs. Know the risks and have a plan before you begin gambling. For free and confidential services, call 1-800-GAMBLER 24/7 or go to helpmygamblingproblem.org.
Coming back in here with Glenn and the other guy, Garrett, whatever his name is. You know who they are.
All right, back in here on GCR as we continue along on a Thursday edition of the program. And yeah, there is a championship to be had. There is a title at stake. Coming up this Sunday up in Philadelphia, the Maryland Whipsnakes take on the Utah Archers for the PLL Championship. Joining us now to tell us a little bit more about their run to the title game, including some serious drama in the playoffs. He a Terp. He's a Baltimore guy, too. He's a Blakefield alum. He is Matt Dunn, and he is with us now here on GCR. Matt, it's Glenn. It's great to chat, man. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning.
Yeah, Glenn, great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, dude. Let me go back a little ways because I talked about it with a couple of the guys, right? When you guys were out in San Diego, things weren't looking so hot at that point, right? And you weren't that far away from maybe this going the wrong way and things not working. What clicked for this team starting that Sunday that has led you guys to this place that you're playing for a title?
Yeah, well, you're spot on when you say I believe we were 2-4 in San Diego.
Yeah.
Not doing so hot, and at that point in the season, you're like, this could go in either direction. So there's definitely concerns there, but we had a young team. We had a lot of turnover from last year, so I think all of us knew that the first half of the season was going to be a little bit bumpy. But the younger guys started to come along, and honestly, I think we had great leadership from our older guys, and then that like middle tier of guys that were younger guys the past few years really kind of stepped up and embraced that role of like no longer being the new guy and really emerged. So I think for us, just taking the first half of the season for guys to get comfortable in what were new roles from what they had in the past and really embracing that and kind of at that flex point, really focusing on us, the things we can control, taking it one step at a time, just playing the best we can play and letting the results take care of themselves.
Bro, when you say the young guys have stepped up, I think you are dramatically underselling this, right? Like this group of rookies all season long and, in the biggest moments too, did you know immediately like how good TJ was and how helpful Adam? Like, were you aware quickly, or where did it start to come from for you? Or like, oh my God, these guys might be the difference makers for us.
Yeah, TJ, like right at training camp, I could tell TJ was going to be an impact player. He was really good, but also just like really good all around. Could carry the ball, could feed the ball, could cut off ball. I don't know that like I expected him to have as much success as he did, as he currently is having. So that's kind of continued to be so impressive. Where he's a top guy in the league, not just amongst rookies, but in the league. And then some of the other guys were hard because like guys like Adam Patra were in and out of training camp a little. He's Canadian. He had an end of the year Loyola trip with the seniors and couldn't play the first couple weeks. So like a guy like him, I thought he was solid, but I didn't expect this from him. And then we trade for a guy like Levi. Jack Corus is a pickup that went undrafted that's been impactful. Obviously Ajax was our first round pick. And I had a feeling how good Ajax was going to be for us, and he's really lived into that. But I mean, those guys, yeah, to your point, they're not just like adding value; they are adding massive value and a huge driving force of our team.
He is Matt Dunn. He is with us here on GCR. Whipsnakes Archers for the title Sunday in Philadelphia. Matt, you've done no pun intended, you've done so much in this game, right? Like, you've been an all-star like something like 1 billion times. You've won championships. But how unique is this one for you with it saying Maryland across your chest, right? Like, how much different would this be for you to win this title now as a Maryland Whipsnake, as opposed to, even though I know this area, it was always, the Whipsnakes were always the home team, right? Like, it was the one franchise that we knew was going to end up being placed here because there were so many of you guys on the team over the years. But how much more would it mean to do it with Maryland written across your chest on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, it would mean a lot, I think, for a lot of guys on our team, like you mentioned, Maryland background. Getting to represent the state of Maryland is such an honor for us. I mean, we all take so much pride in having played for Coach Tillman at the University of Maryland. And, getting to do it with that across our chest with guys that we went to college with, or quite frankly, I didn't get to play with, but we have that alumni connection.
Right.
And now there's something special there. And I don't mean to just isolate our Maryland, University of Maryland guys, because quite frankly, the team chemistry we've formed with all these guys from, Penn State, Loyola, St. Joe's, Denver, wherever they're from, we've really kind of created this great culture on the Maryland Whipsnakes that's been pretty special. So getting to do it for Maryland would be amazing. But also, I think just getting to do it after kind of a crappy end of last year and a tough start to this year would make it very meaningful also.
I'm glad you brought that up, right? Because it was a heck of a season a year ago, and then it didn't go your way. How did that maybe drive you guys going into this year to like kind of wipe the taste out of your mouth?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, this was the first year we went in as an underdog.
Sure.
As, kind of the bottom half of the league, and we lost a lot of guys too. We got a lot of turnover. And so I think for us, it was really humbling. And, sustained success is challenging because it breeds complacency. And so whether you try to fight it or not, when you're always winning, you kind of assume things are just going to happen, and you kind of get away from the stuff that leads to having success. So I think for us, it was really humbling coming into the season where we were all like, we got to strip away any sense of ego we have, and we need to all buy into like what our coaches are asking us and what we expect from each other, and just do it, try to play the right way, try to do the things we want to do, and let the outcome take care of itself. And so for us culturally, that's been great because it's really meaningful that it feels like our group is all about buying what our team needs from us, and not about like, oh, I do this because I'm me. No, we all do what our team needs from us. And I think I sense that from each other. So it's pretty, I think it makes winning all the better when everybody's bought in like that.
It's funny you bring that up because, like, I think a lot of people point out, like, you guys have had, late drama in both playoff games so far, right? Like, it has come literally down to the last second. How important is that aspect of it, that everybody's bought in those moments? And do you guys not panicking when you've been in these, close 1-goal, 1-point games here in the postseason?
It's huge. I mean, that is PLL lacrosse for the most part. That what happened in the Archers Chaos game is really rare, where they won.
Yeah.
That's like so rare. What's much more common is a back and forth down to the stretch, a fourth quarter overtime, couple bang plays that seem lucky, but that's the league. And so I think for us, like, because we're so focused on just doing our jobs out there, we have a lot of faith in each other. And, we talk about like bending, breaking, and just focusing on the next play and doing what's in our control. So when you get in those crazy moments where like, we're down by 3 in the fourth quarter of a playoff game, or the ball keeps coming back and the Atlas hit a pipe and Jeff Teat gets a great look at the goal, and like, we're not freaking out because we're just going to go trust each other and go make the next play. And if it doesn't go our way, it doesn't, and that sucks. But like, sometimes you can't control that. We're just going to keep focusing on doing the right thing that, we're supposed to do for our team.
Matt Dunn, of course, outstanding defender for the Maryland Whipsnakes. So give me a breakdown of the Archers, right? Obviously defending champs, and they present quite a bit of talent as far as their scorers, their points getters. We're talking about Grant Ament and O'Keefe and Fields. What will it take for your group to neutralize that group and win a title on Sunday?
Yeah, no, they are extremely talented. And in the PLL, they're one of, if not the most talented, group of players. You look at like Connor Fields, Matt O'Keefe, Matt Moore on attack, all capable goal scorers. Yeah. They have a bunch of talent. They're running Grant Ament out of the midfield, which tells you something, For us, I think it's getting the game to 6-on-6.
By the way, that is, now that you say that is bonkers. Like, that right? is bonkers, man.
I mean, unfortunately for them, Tom Schreiber's out, but like in the season, you're like looking at polling either Grant Ament or Tom Schreiber, which is like,
Jesus, that is hell, bro.
Right. So yeah. For us, it's like, in the PLL, a lot of it's getting the game to 6-on-6. There's a lot of transition can kill you in this league. So if you give up, you don't want to give up twos in early offense and transition. So it starts with like being smart in how we sub and how we get back on defense. So if you get the game to 6-on-6, from there, it's really, we've done a good job playing together recently where we trust ourselves on the ball, but we're ready to support to the right guys. And, they have some guys you need to support too, that are so talented. So just trusting that our teammates will be there to support each other when needed. We'll get out to their shooters, and at the end of the day, like, we got to play good on the ball. We got to pick up first-time ground balls, and you always need a little bit of support in the cage. And Brendan Krebs has been awesome for us there.
And obviously, it's going to be a hell of a day at the dot too, right? Between Nards and Mikey Sisselberger, like that alone is worth the price of admission on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the face-off guys in this league.
Yeah.
And it's a bloodbath
it's
every
nuts,
week.
Right?
There's eight teams, right? And I give Joe Nardella a ton of credit because I don't know enough about facing off, but I don't know that on paper he's like always the best clamper, but that dude battles and puts himself in an advantageous position in every game. He's resilient. Mike Sisselberg is a phenomenal faceoff guy, and I know those two are going to battle it out. So that's always a fun game within the game.
He is Matt Dunn, and you can follow him on Instagram at Matt_Dunn33, and on Twitter, I actually believe it now. It's I'm done tweeting, and you really are apparently.
That's right.
Man, good for you, dude. Is that just an in-season thing, or is that really where you're at in your life, where you're like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need any. This is a cesspool. I'm out.
I just go through phases. I didn't tweet a lot, but then, sometimes in the off season, I do a lot of lacrosse, try to put out content, breakdowns of plays. So I'll occasionally do some things, but for the most part, I'm not big on posting on social media.
Oh, good for you. It's really funny. I actually just went to your Twitter page, and the last thing that you posted was a retweet of the column that I wrote about Tillman after this season, which is really funny. Yeah, I mean that guy, and I'm not trying to take anything away from those dudes, but that team was not the team that was supposed to be playing on Memorial Day, and yet there they were, right? This is not the team with the Bernhardt or the greatest the attackman that can just carry you there by scoring so many points, and yet there they were once again playing for a national championship. Man, that guy's special.
Yeah. He's awesome. I think the coaches knew that, the players knew that, the alumni and fans knew that, which makes it you appreciate a team that can outkick their ability like that. And Coach Till, all the alumni, we all love him. He's the best at what he does.
That's awesome, man. Matt, we are rooting like hell for you guys, obviously, on Sunday. May there be another championship in your world and one to celebrate for everybody back this way. Appreciate you taking the time for us this morning, man. Go get them on Sunday. Let's talk again soon, all right?
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, dude. Matt Dunn with us here on GCR. Of course, Terps legend and now a pro legend. I mean, he's done everything. So, yeah, they've had a hell of a run. As he pointed out, they were 2-4 going out to California, and now here they are playing for a championship on Sunday against Utah. So it's a short drive. You want to get up there and support the Whipsnakes, and obviously, I think it's on ABC. Is it on ABC on Sunday? Is that where it is? I think it's on ABC.
Sounds right. I know it's definitely on ESPN Plus.
Yeah, I know that, but I'm pretty sure it's I know it's got a linear. It is, yes, ABC. ABC for the championship game Sunday afternoon. All right, we are winding down. Is there anything that we didn't cover that we needed to? Obviously, there was no. Oh, how about so do we do? Is there any thought to rescind a slap to Marlon Humphrey with Kyle Hamilton saying, "Hey, that was me. I effed up there. That's on me."
What did I have him as? My 2 or my 3? You didn't slap him at all?
I did not. I don't think I did.
I still think he deserved a slap. Maybe not. What did I get? So I gave him 2, or I gave him, 4 slaps?
I mean, maybe you'd consider Kyle Hamilton after he says, that's on me. I screwed up that play. I was the reason why. Xavier
Can I go back? Am I allowed to go back and change it?
No, we do not. We do not allow for that.
Then no. I stand by my slap.
You should say, I take accountability. I'll be better. Hang on a second.
Because he still, I still didn't think it was a great game. I mean, I'm trying to think of who. So obviously,
I did not.
It wasn't a great overall game
for. That would be something where if I could reconsider, if Kyle Hamilton saying that was on me, that would be enough for me to say, okay, then Kyle Hamilton should be on the list. I would have taken off.
What was his exact quote?
Oh, for God's sakes, Griffin. You think I'm prepared for that? Kyle Hamilton took full responsibility for the coverage bust on the second Xavier Worthy touchdown, emphasized it wasn't on Marlon Humphrey or Zach Orr at all, explained he was supposed to drop back to cover the deep half of that side of the field. That's from Luke Jones.
Then, yeah, I would, yeah, okay. You know what? And we because I see the quote and now see the play back-to-back as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
put Kyle Hamilton on my list as well.
Dunn screwed up his, now I'm worried it's the press box cursed. Uh-oh, gonna need Kyle Hamilton to step up a little bit. Can't be having that happen while he's on the cover of the current print issue of Press Box. I think that's it. I think we're good. I think we've covered everything we need to. So how about now we go ahead and get ourselves a tidbit? Yeah. Now?
How about?
No.
Have you ever thought of taking a cruise to these wonderful destinations with sunny skies and beautiful beaches? Well, wait no longer. We're ready for you to cruise from the Cruise Maryland Terminal.
Have a little phrase that you can go from baggage to margarita in about 15 minutes.
Choose fun with an array of destinations, onboard activities, entertainment, and world-class cuisine.
Contact your travel agent and book your cruise today. Let your adventure begin.
All right, what you got for us for tidbits?
That was what I. As soon as I hit it, I was. We do have a big UFC card this weekend.
We're not doing fighting words.
All right, I can't give you any I can't even do 2 minutes.
You can have 20 seconds.
20 seconds. So they're fighting at the Spear this weekend. Yes. And then also doing the celebration of Noche UFC. So that's why, and I think that's why it felt like kind of like a bit of a weird week. Like they're trying to do two. I don't think gimmicks is the right word, but like they're trying to do like these two separate themes, and they're like being in the Spear alone. I think could have been just that's marketable enough. And then so is doing Mexican Independence Day, trying to celebrate Mexican heritage on Noche UFC. So I think they should have separated that in a way. Like why not have? This is the second time they've done the Noche UFC thing, and it's the second time they haven't done it in Mexico. Like I don't know why, and they've had cards in like earlier this year. They had a card in Mexico, and it was great. It was
isn't it not really like Mexican fighters?
Not at least not headlining.
Yeah.
I mean Brian Ortega is the high, or no, Alexa Grasso. So she's in the co-main, and that'll be the finale, I guess, of the Ultimate Fighter, since it was Team Shevchenko versus Team Grasso. So yeah, you have that, but yeah, they're having Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili, headline.
Doesn't really scream. I don't. If the point was trying to get people to tune away from Canelo Alvarez in that community, I don't think that you accomplished that.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, in fairness, like the Latin community typically, I don't want to make any grand statements, typically has been more of a boxing community than a UFC community, right? Like that a Canelo fight is more likely to get strong Mexican attention than a UFC card is. So I don't know. It's all kind of weird to me, but whatever. It's the Sphere. That'll look cool. I'm not gonna, this isn't gonna be for me, but I'm sure it'll look cool.
Yeah, I'm still excited for it. They always do the pay-per-views well, but yeah, it did seem like there's not an identity to the card, I guess is the way I'm trying to put that. Okay, here we go. Stats.
Quick. I've already given you more time. Oh, you're done? You're good?
I was going to move on.
Okay.
What else do you want from me? What else do you want from me?
I thought you wanted to pick a fight. I thought you wanted to tell me.
I like Sean in the main event.
Okay.
It should be.
There's
a lot of close fight. Like there's a couple I think massive favorites on the card. Sean was minus 130, I think, last time I saw.
Okay.
And then Merab was plus 110, but it should be a good fight. There's a lot of very close fights on the card, especially the main card. So should be a good night of fights. You also have the 19-year-old Raul Rosas Jr. I think he's the opening prelim, so everyone can watch that one. I think it's gonna be on ESPN News, the prelims.
Sure. I mean, it's football season. All the ESPNs are kind of taken.
All right. What am I doing? I have stats for you, allegedly. I thought I had a good. Oh, so did you see Bowden Francis?
Oh yeah, had a no-hitter.
Again.
Yeah, right.
He took a no-hitter into the ninth again,
and ends up losing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it was rough. The Mets become the only team in the modern era of MLB to score 6 runs in the ninth inning after having no hits and no runs through 8 innings. As the Mets came back to win and beat the Blue Jays.
That's wild.
Yes. I'm trying to figure out which tidbit I'd like to do here. All right. Yeah, we'll do. Okay, so Saquon, 3 scrimmage touchdowns. His second career game on last Friday in Brazil. 3 scrimmage touchdowns for him. Can you? So he's still quite a ways away before he becomes the all-time leader in games with 3 scrimmage touchdowns. There are 6 guys that have had double-digit games with 3 scrimmage touchdowns.
There are 6 guys that have had double-digit games with 3 in history.
In history.
That's a little surprising.
Mm-hmm. Only 6 guys with 10+ games of.
So I'll say Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders is not on the list. Barry had 7. Bum,
yeah, right. Sucks. Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice is number one, tied for number one on this list. 14 games with 3+ touchdowns.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, not in the top 6. Randy Moss just missed 9. Another bum.
Wow.
We could do the top 9.
Emmett Smith.
Emmett Smith, yes, 10. 10 games, right up my cutoff.
How many am I supposed to be getting?
I wanted you to do 6.
6. Okay.
So you have 2. You have Jerry and Emmett Smith.
Walter Payton.
Not Walter Payton.
LaDainian Tomlinson.
LaDainian Tomlinson. Walter Payton had 6, by the way. LaDainian Tomlinson had 13. He is on the list.
Marshall Faulk.
Marshall Faulk is on the list. Tied for 4th. 12 games with 3 touchdowns.
Marcus Allen.
Not Marcus Allen. Marcus Allen, 7 as well, tied with Barry.
Curtis Martin.
No Curtis Martin. Curtis Martin. If I were Curtis Martin, I do not see Curtis Martin. I go down to 5.
All right. How about Terrell Owens?
T.O. is not in the top 6.
Larry Fitzgerald.
No Larry Fitz.
Cool.
I don't see T.O. or Fitz in my top 25 here is what I see.
How about Marvin Harrison?
Marvin Harrison, again, just outside. He had 9.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
How about... Oh, God. Tony Dorsett.
No Tony Dorsett.
Eric Dickerson.
No Eric Dickerson. Dickerson.
How about...
Dickerson.
I really don't even know where to go from here. Earl Campbell.
That's a good guess, but no.
Jim
no Earl
Brown.
Campbell. Jim Brown, tied for number 1. 14 such games, tied with Jerry Rice.
I should have guessed Jim Brown a little bit earlier. Edgerrin James.
Edgerrin James is a good guess, but he is outside the top 10 here. He has 6 in his career. This guy was a former Raven.
A former Raven. I think it's Shannon Sharp. He's had quite the week.
Yeah, he has.
I mean, nobody seemed to be having a bad time.
How does
he apparently
well, he was hacked.
Okay, well, I mean that was
it wasn't even
that
him.
was stupid because then everybody's like, dude, we all heard you clearly weren't hacked. So he did his show last night and talked about it, and it's a whole thing. But look, man. Obviously, it's embarrassing, and you hope that the woman that was involved is not traumatized by it. But I would say there are actually worse things that could end up.
Oh yeah. Yes.
The people involved, the parties involved, seem to be having a lovely evening.
So yeah, he's obviously known to score. He did not score 3 times in a game.
I don't think it's Steve Smith. I don't think it's.
No.
How about Priest?
Priest Holmes, 12 such games with 3 plus
it's fine. The guys that also caught touchdowns. That was the LaDainian and Marshall Faulk path for me. But yeah, Priest. Wow.
One other guy had 9 touchdowns, or did this 9 times with Randy Moss and Marvin Harrison. Sean Alexander.
How about
in the
that?
top 9?
All right.
Yes.
Let's get totally tubular.
In Kansas City.
Okay,
but
that's not it. That's something else altogether. That might have been me talking to Andrew Catalon, perhaps. I'm not sure, but it definitely isn't what we need to do for totally tubular. I know that much.
Been working on a way to make this transition more seamless.
Yeah,
and
we're not there, is what I would say. I would say, haven't gotten there yet.
There is a place where tradition, family, and community gather, where the aspirations of talented young competitors takes root, and where the crossroads of history, culture, and renewal come together. This spring, experience America's newest and most innovative ballpark, Meritus Park in Hagerstown, Maryland, home of the Atlantic League Flying Boxcars. Plan your getaway today. You're welcome in Hagerstown, Maryland.
I assume you prepared the big VMA rundown from last night, all of the what we need to know.
No, give me 1 second.
Major storylines and everything. No,
I got you.
No, we're not doing that. All right, here's what's coming up tonight. Totally Tubular.
Taylor Swift gushes over boyfriend Travis Kelce
Good
in her
for
VMA
her.
speech.
Good for her. Bills-Dolphins kicks off NFL Week 2 tonight, 8:15 on Amazon Prime Video. Not exactly sure what Devon Achan's status is going into the game. Is it Jalen Wright? Does Jeff Wilson have it? Like what? I don't know. But Bills-Dolphins tonight, 8:15 on Amazon Prime Video. Also, you can find Liberty Wings at 8 o'clock on Prime. So you got that going for you. College football tonight, Arizona State, Texas State, 7:30 on ESPN. Baseball tonight, Marlins Nationals, 6:45 on Masson. Red Sox Yankees at 7:15 on Fox. Don't do the bit. So I guess we're Red Sox fans this weekend. No, we're not. You can acknowledge after the weekend that if the Orioles, became a different team.
Yeah, if the Orioles
and the Red Sox, won some games in New York, you could not acknowledge those were good results. But what you're not doing is rooting for the Red Sox. That's not happening. You can tip your cap. You can say, hey, that ended up helping. But rooting for the Red Sox? No thank you. No, sir. No how. No chance.
What do they have? They have 4 games?
4 games starting tonight. 7:15 on Fox tonight. MLB Network, Reds Cardinals 1:15. Then they'll join Athletics Astros in progress. Brewers Giants at 10. MLB.TV, the free game. Athletics Astros starts at 2:10. And ESPN Plus for Rangers Mariners at 9:40. Round 1 of whatever the PGA's Procore Championship is at 6 o'clock on the Golf Channel. And WWE, no, there's no NXT tonight. It's Access TV for Impact Wrestling. Why is there, was I high when I put together Tubular today? What is going on, man? That is not good. I got to lock it up. Lock it up, Glenn. Do better. Going to do better. I apologize. Non-sports, what you got?
Non-sports-wise, we have season 2 premiere of The Old Man on FX with Jeff Bridges. He'll be on Colbert as well.
It's really good, and I have not watched it.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out either. Catherine Hahn's going to make her way over to Seth Meyers. And
she's not bringing...
No, Jason Tatum's not. She's bringing Kevin Smith with her, actually.
I saw that Kevin Smith has... Kevin Smith just basically keeps making the same movie over and over again for like the 20 of us that still care about Kevin Smith. Like, it's a very small audience, but he just keeps making, like, he's got some movie that's apparently about him that is out right now. I don't think it's in theaters. I don't know where you would watch it, but there is a new Kevin Smith film. And I'm a Kevin Smith guy. Like, I've been to Kevin Smith film festivals. I have, I was at a midnight showing of Jay and Bob Strike Back, man. Like, I am a Kevin Smith guy, but it just seems like he's making the same movie over and over and over again.
New episode of Fight Night on Peacock, the $1 Million Heist thing.
That's a show. I thought that was a movie.
Oh, you thought it was a movie? I mean, maybe it could have been. I'm not sure what.
Right.
I mean, the Muhammad Ali stuff's over now, so I'm not sure.
I just finished the Serena Williams show. And I actually think they did a really good job. I'm a Serena fan, so that's part of it. Like, did they break a lot of new ground? Maybe not a ton, but there was like the Indian Wells episode was very powerful. There's a lot in there. It was very good. They did a very good job with that.
Also on Peacock, Colin Jost and Michael Che are doing just essentially a longer form weekend update, I guess. New York After Dark live special at 9 o'clock tonight.
I would watch that.
I'm sure they'll have a lot. I'm sure they'll have a lot to go over.
Yeah,
and
they did it purposely after the debate, I
guess so, yeah. An episode of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power on Prime Video as well.
So. Very good. That's all coming up. All right, thanks today to Matt Dunn from the Whipsnakes. Thanks to Tai Felton from the Terps. Thanks to Andrew Catalon, to KZ. We'll get all that up in the greatest hits section of the...
Here we go!
I thought we said that was only going to be a Wednesday thing.
Oh, it was only a Wednesday thing.
I thought that was only Wednesdays for Here We Go.
Okay.
Or do we just want to commit to it?
I don't know.
You seem to be very... Well, next week... No. They play the Cowboys next week. You can't do that.
Yeah, you're right. I can't do it next week.
All right, get it all out this week.
Okay.
The rest of this week we can do it, and then next week we go back.
Here we go.
Tab at GlennClarkRadio.com. All right. Anything tomorrow? Stan will be here.
Yeah, Stan will be here. We'll talk Ravens with Bo Smoka.
And stuff and things?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, Hey, man. Thanks, everybody at PressBox, all of our great sponsors and partners, including Baltimore's Classic 5 Golf Courses, the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill, the Maryland 5-Star Live Casino and Hotel, AJ Michaels, Visit Hagerstown in Washington County, Cruise Maryland, Ocean City, Easy Pass, Royal Farms, the Ed Block Courage Awards, HelpMyGamblingProblem.org, the Costa Sin, MSAA, the Baltimore Orioles, your local Toyota dealer, buyatoyota.com. Thanks to Griffin at Griffin_Bass. Follow us, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Glenn Clark Radio. Have a great what?
And since you mentioned Live Casino Hotel, should let you
Oh,
know
yeah, you
that
should.
this weekend and every weekend when Baltimore or Washington football teams are home and they score a touchdown, you get free $7 in slot play. You have to be playing the slot machine actively and have your card inserted correctly into that slot machine. But once Baltimore or Washington score a touchdown during home games, you get free $7 valid for slot play only at Arundel Mills. Must be 21. Please play responsibly. For help, visit mdgamblinghelp.org or call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Thank you for that reminder. Have a great Thursday evening. Go nobody. Duke sucks. We wrap up today's program. Segment number 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show with special guest Beau Brade.
Okay. No? That made it worse. Whatever you just did made it.
Oh, it was close.
Yep,
Close.
I did. I
Close.
did think we were close.
Close.
Well, now,
Just,
hold on.
Just awkward for everybody.
It is. I guess mostly awkward for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not awkward for me. Like, it's still uncomfortable. But, you know, I feel like it wasn't that long after that.
Right.
Yeah.
I believe we're ready to go.
Okay.
Back in here for segment number 2 of the Arthur Maulet Show. Press Box 105.7 The Fan. We are live at the Hamilton Sports Bar and Grill on Harford Road. Glenn, Rita, and would you make some more noise for Arthur Maulet and Beau Brade who are out here? The storied tradition of eventing the ultimate test of horse and rider continues with the Maryland 5-Star at Fair Hill on October 17th through 20th. Visit maryland5star.us for more info and tickets. That's Maryland 5-Star with the number 5. All right, so we got to get into it. Some controversy this week.
Yeah.
New Orleans hosting the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, for sure.
Great city for a Super Bowl.
Great city, Baltimore. Last time they were there.
Great city for anything, frankly.
Yes, one of my favorite cities.
Shout out to my hometown. Not for real.
Yes, shout out to them.
Halftime show of the Super Bowl
Kendrick
is
Lamar.
set. Kendrick Lamar is the halftime show.
What do you think about that?
I'm good with it. I mean, Kendrick Lamar is a star, man. Like Kendrick, it's his year, right? Like this is his moment. So I'm fine with that. I will admit
it's kind of awkward, right?
It's a little awkward, and I am also a nerdy Lil Wayne fan.
Exactly.
Like I am an old school Wayne guy. How you feeling about the New Orleans Super Bowl going Kendrick instead of going Wayne?
Honestly, I kind of feel bad for Lil Wayne on it because obviously he's in the GOAT consideration of the top artists, hip hop artists, right? So
Hang on a second. What's your like top 5? Like all time, what's your top 5?
For me, Lil Wayne, Nas, I listen to so much music. Outkast, I'm a big Outkast guy.
We're gonna get along really well, by the way. Like, just based on this list.
And I don't know after that.
All right, that's fine.
That's crazy now.
That's totally
so that
fine.
don't really. It all sounds the same. No offense to you artists out there. But.
Wow, we have a lot in common, bro. We have a lot in common about those feelings. So you think
I just think it's kind of disrespectful, in a way. You know, obviously Kendrick Lamar is having a great 2024, right? Fire. Kudos to him. But I just think it's kind of like when you have a GOAT in that city, like they did the Super Bowl in LA, right? And they had all the legends of LA.
In West Coast hip hop, yeah.
It was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and all these guys. And
Kendrick was on that one too, yeah.
And you get to New Orleans and it's like, okay, they have their GOAT. We have our GOAT, right? And he's been the best in the game for a long time. And it's like, okay, it's time to give him his flowers, but then you don't. And it's like, ouch.
All right. Bo, you're not a New Orleans guy.
Well, mom's
You're a
from
younger
New
guy.
Orleans.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. How about that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got some of that alligator water. I don't even know.
He bleeds crawfish etouffee. Like,
Yeah, I know a little something.
Yeah.
But nah, man, I'm a Lil Wayne fan. I think he's the GOAT, like number one, no other. But yeah, I feel like that's disrespectful. That's crazy. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm not really a Kendrick Lamar fan.
Really?
So,
are
yeah.
you, I was gonna say, are you a?
Nah, I know more. I don't really know what's going
It's really over, right? Like nobody can. I don't know how he ever shows his face again, man. Like,
real. But yeah, I like it. I ain't gonna lie, I do like Kanye, but that's all I'll say about that. But like,
Yeah, nice, yeah.
I like Kanye. I like Wayne, number one though, definitely.
I also feel like Wayne's songs in like a stadium with like a whole stadium singing along. Like, not to say that like when like he hits Not Like Us, that place is gonna go, bananas, right? Like that place is gonna be nuts.
Yeah.
But I just feel like Wayne's songs are more like
Everybody's gonna be singing.
That's what I'm saying. Like they're more sing along, anthemic, like
anthems.
I have seen it like Wayne in an arena, and the place just goes. Rita does not agree with us, by the way. Rita has making faces over there.
She hates.
Rita's making.
She hates. So, what's your opinion, Rita? Because I'm interested to know.
At the Super Bowl are not the people that y'all think gonna be there. You know how much a ticket costs?
I'm not saying it's gonna be a bunch of.
No, it's just. I understand what you're saying. I get that, but in the grand scheme of things, that's what we're saying. In the grand scheme of things, why isn't Lil Wayne performing?
Well, I don't have a problem with it because outside of LA, it's not a thing. Somebody who performs in their whole city is not a thing. It's never been a thing. I was there in 2013. I saw Beyonce. I don't recall y'all being mad about Lil Wayne then. So that's just my opinion about it.
That's different.
That's fine.
When you have 5 different artists in the LA Super Bowl.
That's literally the only one you can name, literally.
But didn't it set a good precedent?
It set a precedent.
No, because Usher just did Vegas last year. He's
But
not
Usher
from
have
Vegas.
Vegas anymore. Like
Usher's from Atlanta.
I know, but he does his residencies in Vegas.
Another thing,
Where did you see Usher?
another thing I got an issue with is why we're talking about Lil Wayne. Like No Limit shouldn't be in this conversation as well.
You can't be playing No Limit at the Super Bowl.
But you can play Lil Wayne.
Yes.
Okay. Sure.
If Lil Wayne performing,
Sure.
nobody's sitting down at all.
Come on.
Whole halftime is standing up, jumping.
I don't know what people y'all think be there, but the people that listen
Not
to Lil
Kendrick
Wayne
fans,
not gonna be there. Them neither. But I'm just making a point.
I think really,
Exactly.
I'm
My
making the point that none
You
of the
think
people
people
gonna
are
be
gonna know
there.
Kendrick songs before with Lil Wayne?
Well, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, like what we're doing is discrediting a guy who doesn't deserve that. He has 14 Grammys and he has a Pulitzer Prize.
He's
So
great.
So I'm just making the point that he holds his own as well. I think Lil Wayne is a great entertainer. I just don't have an issue with it because the precedent is still not set. It's just one anomaly. We're going.
But we could have said it. That was
well,
an
they
opportunity.
didn't. So I don't know which. I'm gonna watch it regardless. I'm gonna just be on. And Lil Wayne's probably gonna be out there anyway. That's the part. I
Are you cool with that? Like,
Nah,
if-
yeah.
I can absolutely see
obviously,
him doing
he's
that.
gonna be out there.
That's
We're
for
not
sure.
stupid. Like, it's only right that he does that. right?
Absolutely.
But for him not to be the headliner, it's just weird. But I'm biased. I'm from Louisiana, so I'm gonna be like.
And you
"That's
supposed to
weird."
ride. You supposed to ride or die, and I ain't mad at that. 100%.
By the way, if they want to dig up Master P to have him come out at
just
halftime,
saying,
I'm
I'm
for it. Like that's that. Now you're getting to my age. Like I'm all in. Like we can do make him say we can do the whole thing. I'm about it.
You could definitely do make them say, just for a snippet.
Give it like
Give me
10
a
seconds
snippet.
worth and then move on. That's what
Yes.
they do anyway at halftime.
Exactly.
They just do like 20
It's
seconds
just
of
a
it.
30-minute show.
Right?
It's all good.
Like just 100 songs.
3
in there.
songs.
All right, so give me what's on your before a game, are you headphones on?
Honestly, no, I'm not headphones on before the game. I kind of like to hear the locker room.
Okay.
Kind of see how everybody's vibing. Kind of eye check people don't see it, but eye check everybody. Make sure they locked in. Make sure they're not scared. Make sure everybody's just mentally focused. And then it's time to play.
Wow, Bo, what about you? Are you a headphones on guy before games?
Yeah, I'm a headphones on guy.
What you listening to?
Shoot, it changes really like based on where I am in the process of like the pregame, like driving to the stadium. I'll listen to some calm stuff, and then like Michael Jackson or something, not like too wild. Then when walking into the stadium, I'll listen to some like hard rock or like some WWE walkout. Yeah,
Yeah, Stone Cold, like
Stone Cold.
John Cena?
Yeah. Nah, not really.
Ah.
Nah, but Stone Cold, I've definitely met Stone
hit
Cold.
the glass break.
Yeah,
Austin
you know
316,
it.
we're
Yeah.
doing the whole thing, man. I'm for that.
Not with that. Nah, I just let it go. And then when I'm walking onto the field, I'm like, about to do my warm up and stuff. I just listen to like, just hip hop, just rap. Just like,
Okay.
But like more upbeat, like NBA YoungBoy or something. Probably more of the like what y'all say they sound like and stuff. But
I was going to ask Arthur, is it any younger artists that you actually like that you would listen to?
Man, I have a lot of young guys I listen to back at home, obviously, because I support the local artists out there. They do a pretty good job. Young artists, man. Not really, man. I'm pretty old soul guy, honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
Be like that.
Yeah. No, I completely understand the point of that.
I mean, it's just for me. For music, I look for substance, and like a lot of things that's coming out now, it's not a lot of substance. So it's like it don't really get my attention like that.
We're talking about New Orleans. The Super Bowl's in New Orleans. How much have you been thinking about that in relation to how last season ended and what it would mean for you to be playing in a Super Bowl inside the dome, particularly knowing, I think a lot of people know how your life was changed by the events of Katrina and like what have you I let your mind go there to what that
honestly it went for a little bit just knowing that the Super Bowl is there, but you know, it's a lot of work between now and then. Like, you know, obviously it'll mean a lot to be there and play, and you know, families there, and you know, born and raised and all that's good. But you know, in order for that to happen, you got to put in the work.
You can't go there.
You can't look that far. And that's the biggest thing. It's especially with me right now, with me being hurt and not playing, and going to battle with these guys day by day with me. You know, and like now, like it's imperative for me, man. Like when I come back to, you know, prove to these guys that their investment was not wasted. So for me, like, you know, I'm just trying to show all my hard work that I did in the off season. So I'm just trying to get back whenever I get back.
You referenced like the Ravens winning their last Super Bowl in New Orleans.
Yeah.
There was some like really unique New Orleans to the Ravens that year because it was Ed Reed and it was Jacoby Jones, like two people that are
From
pretty
there.
right. Did that like, you know, this is going back a ways, and you obviously had no idea that you were going to end up having a connection with the Baltimore Ravens years later. But did those stories like resonate with you? Did you have like any emotions towards like Jacoby, Ed winning a Super Bowl in New Orleans?
Obviously not. I was young, man. I didn't really have too much emotion, and it wasn't the Saints, right? Obviously, at the time. But like for me, like just honestly, just seeing those guys being where I'm from, literally where I'm from, like Jacoby's literally kind of where I'm from, really, the city. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for him being where I'm from, going to Old Perry Walker, going out of high school, being great in college, going to, you know, being a dual returner, great returner in the league, it definitely motivated me. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy's from where I'm from, and like Keenan Lewis, Jacoby Jones, freaking Ed Reed, like all those guys paved the way for us. Tyrann Mathieu, like all those guys, like all those guys paved. Leonard Fournette, like I can go. The list goes on and on, but those guys paved the way for a guy like me to kind of give me motivation because they're where I'm from. You know, it's cool, man.
All right, you gotta wonder how many tickets you willing to buy if the Ravens go to the Super Bowl.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm only 4.
Yeah, they get expensive.
They're expensive. I'll be honest. They can. When we win, I'll see y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna have a party, right? We're gonna have a
I'll
party.
see y'all. But until then, see me through the TV now.
You can watch it on TV.
I want to take a second because you mentioned Jacoby, and you guys are wearing a decal for Jacoby this season.
Yeah, man.
But obviously also Joe D. And you know, neither one of you are offensive linemen. And Bo, I know you were only around for a minute. I don't even know if you had a chance to meet Joe D.
Couple weeks.
Yeah. But Arthur, like, what was wild to me, LeRon McClain hit me up and he's a running back and was talking about the impact that Joe D had on his
man. Yeah, literally, man. Like Joe D's one of a kind, man. Great guy. You know, rest his soul. That's a guy that, like, I was hurt, and last thing he told me was like, man, stop hanging your damn head. You know, you're gonna be back soon. Like, make sure you're working. You know, this time's gonna fly by. And, you know, that's the last thing he did. He told me, you know, words of encouragement, saying that I was able to do what I'm doing. You know, happy that, you know, I'm out in the community of Baltimore and giving back. Like you know, every time he saw me, he was happy. And, you know, it's just a beautiful soul, man. Honestly, you know, for him to leave us, man, it definitely hurt our organization because, you know, we're losing a lot of guys in Baltimore, you know.
Man, that's powerful, bro.
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Shout out Joe D and Jacoby and you guys playing for those guys this
For
season.
sure, 100%.
That is real powerful.
Yeah.
Hey, the Arthur Maulet Show is made possible by 1-800-GAMBLER. No-cost treatment now available for anyone wanting help with a gambling problem and you know who you are, and get out of these guys' DMs about your parlays. They don't want to hear about it. They don't
care about your parlay, man.
Don't want to hear about it.
And no, the NFL not rigged.
Are you sure? Because I saw all the.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, we're just saying.
I got some questions about that.
We just saying.
Man, listen, I'm just saying too. I was looking at the game like, what's going on? Because the left tackle from Kansas City
Doing the same thing.
He was sliding before, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, all the false starts they didn't call. I'm just saying.
What are we doing here? What are we doing? All right, Arthur Maulet, Beau Brade out here. Beau, you're a Maryland guy. We talked about that a couple times tonight. Being a part of that program, you've talked to me about like Mike Loxley and what a special person he is. Yeah. Being a part of that program these last few years and being a local guy, deciding to stick around, be there, and try to get things turned around. What did that mean to you to see the success that came when you showed up at a time where it
was committed in 2019? They played Ohio State at the Horseshoe, and they lost by like 70. Like, man,
why you thinking it?
Oh, but you could wait till after the.
Tweeted like, yeah, I'm not coming here.
But I mean, it's been an amazing experience with that coaching staff. I mean, I know there's been a lot of turnaround the 4 years I was there, but I feel like definitely coach that I had, position coach I had, helped me a lot through my game and helped me be the player I am now. And I mean, it's great. I think we've gone to 3 bowl games in a row, and we won 3. And I mean, we're playing real competition. I know there was 2 years in there we were playing Michigan and Ohio State, and we let some games escape from us. And I mean, those that sucks. But I mean, I just hope that the guys that are there now and in the future, see who came before them and just keep that work and just ball out. I mean, we had a rough week last week.
Yeah, let's not talk about that, man. Bo gets to go to a game and they're like,
Yeah, that was rough.
Sorry, bro.
You got to be feeling pretty good right now, Arthur. Memphis 2-0.
Oh, man, that's nothing, man.
Getting ready for Florida State on Saturday.
Yeah, that's Mike Norvell.
It's a W, by the way.
I'm going to be honest.
It's a W.
Mike Norvell, I love you, baby. But Memphis, let's go. Go, blue, go, baby.
That's a W in my.
Nah, I think so too.
Yes, Florida State's struggling right now.
It's just that quarterback, man. And obviously
DJU.
Yeah. I don't like downplaying anyone, but quarterback situation in Florida State not looking too good.
It's rough.
And for me, man, I think it's just the transfer portal watering down these big schools.
Yeah.
And guys get these, like when I was in college, man, you had to compete for a job. Like if you didn't compete, like you wasn't just playing. You just had to wait behind this guy until you got better. You know what I'm saying? There really wasn't no option to transfer. So like guys are just making up scenarios.
Wait, would you have? Like if that existed, because Bo stayed, right? Like Bo stuck it out in Maryland. He stayed the whole time.
That's why I like you, Bo. That's why I like you, dog.
Arthur,
you're gonna be all right,
would
man.
you have stayed? Like there was a coaching change in there?
So it's so funny. So I was coming from junior college, and this is when I verbally committed to Memphis. The coach leaves the next morning. It wasn't even 8 hours. It wasn't even 12 hours. I had 2 voicemails saying he had left to Missouri. But me being me, I was like, man, I already verbally committed. I'm about to sign these papers. They have my commitment. I'm going to stay loyal to my word. And obviously it worked out for me, but I just think a lot of guys try to be a big fish in a big pond when they can just go to a nice Division I school and be a big fish in a small pond and be successful and make a way for themselves instead of transferring to all these bigger schools where you're not getting the opportunity to practice all the time, and get better. You're not getting the opportunity to get to the attention and detail and coaching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, it just looks bad. It's just a bad product, right? So, I just think guys have to really just sometimes I tell people like the biggest thing with success is being able to take humiliation. And I think a lot of young guys don't understand that nowadays. You know what I'm saying? You have to be able to take humiliation to be successful and learn from the situations that you're not good at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
Not
you lose
think
at
a lot of
70
people don't do
points.
that.
You gotta-
Ohio State, you can't just
Gotta learn how to
commit.
take the lows in addition to the highs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so
You guys have similar. We talked about it before. You guys have really similar stories. Public school kids, right? Like not guys that had everything given to them. Programs that aren't considered like power college football schools. Undrafted dudes that had to prove themselves again in order to just get into the league. How much pride? But I'll start with you. Like, I'm sure you would say, dude, I would have much rather been drafted. Like, that would have been way better for me.
go ahead.
But that entire path, like having to go through all that, how much more pride do you have now, knowing like I did all that? I took the difficult road to this.
A lot more. You know, I know what I went through. I know what I had to do to go through that, and I think that was just, you know, me going through all those obstacles was just, you know, God choosing that path for me. And you know, even though at the moment at the draft, you know, I was like, you know, wishing it wasn't like that. You know, like why to do this? But I mean, you know, God has His reasons and His ways. So I mean, me coming here to the Ravens, well, you know, there's everything happens for a reason, and you know, whether that's how I'm impacted, you know, being on such a great organization, or how I can impact people that are watching me or around me. I mean, I feel fortunate, and I mean,
drafted, that UD in front of your name, man, and when you sign up for the NFL, this is an everyday job now, baby. 7 days a week, you got to work. You know what I'm saying, until you retire. So if you don't have that mindset, being an undrafted guy, then you're not going to be in the league for long at all.
And one thing the Ravens are really good at is finding, you know,
Talent,
great
yeah.
undrafted talent. So, you know, we've seen a lot of guys go undrafted, and Jameel McClain, I think, is a story.
Super Bowl champion,
you know,
yeah.
Super Bowl champion, and you know, so I expect you to be here a long time with the
Right.
organization. All right, we got it. There's another controversy that happened. And I think we should talk about it. So obviously we know that flag football is going to be a thing. It's going to be a thing. He's already signed in 2028. And I don't even know.
USA
Yeah.
flag football.
Well, he's not happy about the fact that, you know, NFL players want to be a part of the flag football. He feels like Patrick Mahomes needs to try out for flag football. So I'm just curious to know, do you really feel like that?
I'm going to be honest.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
going to just make it this simple. Why do people play flag football?
So they don't want to get hit.
Because they can't what?
They can. Oh, well, there's that.
It's that simple. Sorry, I'm not trying to be an a-hole. Flag football was invented for people that can't play professional.
Sounds. I mean, it sounds.
I'm going to be playing flag football when I can't play professionally anymore.
have you-
Like,
Real
literally,
though.
it's a hard. I'm not saying it's not hard. Like to pull the flag and the reactions.
Right.
I'm not saying not disrespecting the game, but where did that game come from?
Right.
This game here.
Have you thought about that? Like, have you thought of it?
Bro, I'm not playing no flag football.
Fix like that with
I mean, all that's cool, but that's gonna be easy. That's gonna be easy from other countries.
Oh, you think it's unfair? You think it's unfair?
Hilarious.
Exactly. Like,
Who's gonna backpedal and cover Justin Jefferson? You know,
Italy sending out there, right?
France sending out there to cover Justin Jefferson, man. That's a waste of our time, man. It's not happening, bro.
So you're not even putting the Justin Jeffersons out
You
there.
saw the little like USA trial. Was that like that wasn't Olympics, right? They were
Yeah, there was like a world championship.
That was like a little championship,
Yeah,
like
championship.
bracket, right?
Yeah.
I was looking at it and I was like, first of all, bro, y'all playing on a quarter of a field. That looked like our end zone. One, it does, and then two, like it's just, I don't know, man. Those guys they were going up against, I'm like, bro.
I appreciate how
you can go get Bama team out of college, right? Get Memphis.
Go get Memphis.
Nah, not even Memphis. You
Go
can
get Memphis.
Memphis above Maryland on the pecking order.
He did, yeah, so that is.
Of course, I'm gonna say my school first.
Just
man.
Memphis above. Well, one of them might be in the playoff this year, and it's not Maryland.
Hey, chill. We got time. We got time.
I hope you're right. All right, make some more noise. Arthur Maulet and Beau Brade, please. Want to thank our friends at Great 8's Memorabilia. They're proud to be part of the Stars, Stripes, and Chow Chili Cook-Off at Camden Yards, Saturday, November 4th from 1 to 4:30. It's an event to benefit the Baltimore Station to assist homeless veterans and will be hosted by Trenton Simpson. You can find out more at great8baltimore.com with the number 8. We come back in. We're just going to talk about how you guys spent your weekend off. Were you watching football? What did we learn? And we'll look ahead to the entire season. It is the Arthur Maulet Show.